up, everybody, to get on. Plus, I'm going to take a few minutes to share this podcast, this live, onto Facebook. So I'm giving people a little bit of time. So if you're watching this video and you're watching it later, and it's not live for you, then you may want to skip ahead. But for those who are watching live, I just want to give me a little time to share this video. And hey guys, here's the thing. Let me go ahead and talk about those who have won and let me know who you are when you come in. Those who have won on some of my giveaways, I appreciate everybody who's won. If you want to participate in the giveaways of a 10-pack of Uncle Ren's popcorn, then in the comment section after the live, how you doing, Reginald? In the comment section after the live, go ahead and put hashtag Uncle Ren's popcorn. But in order to be into the winnings now, good evening, fam. In order to be into the runnings for winnings now, you also need to share the video. So share this video, that puts you in the running. And be a subscriber to the YouTube page. Be a subscriber to the YouTube page in order for you to be in the giveaway of a 10-pack of Uncle Ren's popcorn. Now, I do want to say, if you have not received your popcorn and you won, hey everybody, how you doing? If you haven't received your popcorn and you won, the reason why is because you need to go to the contact page of UR Popcorn and let me know the 10 flavors that you want. All right, so you have to go to the contact page of urpopcorn.com, and then in the comments, let me know what your 10 flavors are, so that you can win. You can be a part of that. And like I said, right now I'm just sharing this to my Facebook page so that more people can know that we're here and that we're doing this one. I know I haven't done a live in a little while. Lots been going on, but that's okay, because we're going to keep moving forward anyway and do this thing. I'm going to start breaking this down in just a second. But before we even get started, because there's some things I can talk about while I'm not looking at you guys, and that is this. So in my, I research a lot of the wealthy families in the world, right? And one of the things about researching wealthy families, I went back and I looked at the Vanderbilt family. If any guys know about the Vanderbilt family, let me know. Let me know what you know about the Vanderbilt family. All right? Let me know. Because there's an interesting fact about the Vanderbilt family. Of course, Cornelius Vanderbilt, when he was in America, and he was born in the 1800s, and he started from meager means. But Cornelius Vanderbilt, through the railroad industry and the shipping industry, built up by 1877, built up a net worth of $100 million. Okay. Now in 1877, when you compare $100 million in 1877 to today's time, that's $2.277 billion. Let's just say 2.3. $2.3 billion is what Cornelius Vanderbilt built up, right? Yeah, and Cornelius was right there with the Rockefellers and the Morgans. But here's the interesting thing. 6 generations later, the Vanderbilt family, not one person was a millionaire. Now, in today's time, a few of them are millionaires. They've married into other families. Gloria Vanderbilt built a $200 million company based on fashion. But after 6 generations, not one Vanderbilt, in the 1970s, not one Vanderbilt was a millionaire. Now, how does a family go from the richest family in America to being not even counted amongst the wealthy in America? Can't even make a Forbes list in America. And we've seen that so many times. How do we scale that down? How many families in America today, a family member, they may be upper middle class, but then their kids don't become upper middle class, nor rich, nor wealthy. They actually fall below. And I believe the next generation, we're going to see the next generation actually falling below where we are today, where their parents are. Because we are not teaching our children financial management, nor are we demonstrating it to them. Let me give you an idea of that. Let me give you an idea why. What you guys are listening to right now, just listening to me, you will retain 10% of what I'm telling you. If you take notes and write things down, you will retain about 20 to 30% of what I'm telling you. But if you put into action the things that are up on this wall behind me, you put into action this basic understanding that I'm going to give you, 90% of what I'm telling you guys, you will retain. 90%, right? 90%. So it is far greater and far better for you to do than to just listen and write. You have to do these things. My children, when they were younger, they I had jar systems set up to teach them this. I started teaching my kids when they were younger so that they didn't make the same mistakes I made, because I got zero financial literacy from my family. My family would just work, pay your bills, try to live a happy life. Nothing against them, but that's what they taught, right? I didn't even know how to do a checkbook. I didn't know how to get an apartment. Like when they were saying I needed deposits, I was like, what are you talking about? Right? So I was like bewildered. So I had to learn these things the hard way. And what I try to do, what I've done with my children, is to teach them from birth how to manage their money and how to have financial intelligence as I've grown. And I'm going to teach you guys how I've grown. And most of this information is going to come from the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. If you haven't read that book, I suggest that you get it. You can download it for free, but you need to read that book. And then when you read it, take notes. I took down about 20 pages of notes from The Richest Man in Babylon. Actually, I took down more than that. That was actually from The Alchemist. But from The Richest Man in Babylon, I filled up a notebook from The Richest Man in Babylon, because I've read it so many times and I've added to it. But reading The Richest Man in Babylon is what got me in a better financial picture in 1993 is when I started utilizing it. And I'm going to try to read you guys' comments as we do this. Dave Free says it's hard to make money, hard to get loans and repay them, and companies are paying employees dirt wages. And Reginald said most of them go by different last name, just as Arnold Schwarzenegger is a Rothschild. True, a lot of them do go by different names, but there's something interesting about, you mentioned the Rothschilds. The difference between the Vanderbilts and the Rothschilds, most of the Vanderbilts aren't wealthy. And yes, they do go by a bunch of different names, like the John Hammond, different name. But they're still, only some today are becoming wealthy. But 92 years after, when they got together at Vanderbilt University, they were not rich. They were not rich. Anderson Cooper is a Vanderbilt. And his mother, I read his information, and his mother told him that there's no trust fund for him. So Anderson Cooper is about, what, 50-something years old, right? So he's about 50-something years old. And when he was coming up, his mother, Vanderbilt, said, there's no trust fund for you. So how does this happen? And that's what we're going to talk about. But even when you look at Schwarzenegger, he started out poor. But he did what was necessary. He had a vision. Now, up on behind me, what you guys are seeing is my wall, right? I usually don't put this where people can see it, but I'm going to start letting you guys into my world a little bit deeper. But this is my wall. My wall basically comes from the idea of run your life like a major corporation, right? I don't know what promo code chat room. I don't know if that means No Name Rose, but I appreciate you being here. But this is my wall. Run your life like a major corporation. Now, I got these things written down. These are things I've been doing for decades. It helps you in so many different ways, no matter what challenges come your way. And I'm going to tackle the statement that Dave Free said about it's hard to earn money. I'm not trying to be mean, but that's an excuse, okay? It's an excuse. Because if you follow these things here, if you get an understanding of this and put it into practice, it will take time. Hey, No Name Rose D. It'll take time, true. But in order to generate wealth, you have to have patience, right? You have to have patience. And not even about wealth. Wealth is not really about becoming the Vanderbilts or the Rothschilds or the Morgans or Rockefellers or any other named person. Wealth is about you have a standard, this is your standard, and have enough income coming in to maintain your standard. And that you can maintain that standard regardless of inflation. And if you follow all of this that I'm about to tell you today, just as the basics, you will be able to do that. You'll be able to do that very easily. Right? And it doesn't take as much money as you think. The first thing you have to have, and you guys can't see it, but it's way up here, but you have to have a definiteness of purpose, then a definiteness of plan, and then a definiteness of action. Without action, none of this matters. Because we got plan, purpose, plan, action. Purpose, plan, action. I'm going to say it one more time. Purpose, plan, action. And you have to be definite about it. But you got to have patience in order for it to work. Patience. In 1992, I was leveraged I think it was like 112%, meaning that my bills, my responsibilities were 112% of the money that was coming into my household. The only reason it went to 98% is because I got promoted. But there was 6 months where I had to go get money from Marine Welfare. We had this organization in the Marine Corps called Marine Rex and Welfare. I had to go get money from them. I had to go to the food lines. I had to do whatever I needed to do as a military service member in order to stay afloat. And then I got promoted, and that gave a little bit of room. But from there is when I really implemented The Richest Man in Babylon, the lessons from that book, and got myself down to 70% within, but it took 18 months. So you have to have patience, and you have to have a purpose, definiteness of purpose in order to do it. So we're going to start going through some of these things. Now, we're going basic, but there's a lot of details because I've taken The Richest Man in Babylon's concepts and I've made them work for today. And every year it changes and you have to get better. Did you have a family at the time? I was married, so it was just me and my wife. And I refused to have children at that time frame because I knew that I watched other Marines have 2, 3 children because they wanted to get extra pay for having children, to think that that was going to relieve their stress. But all it did was increase their stress because the $200-300 extra they give you was not enough. So I was married, and when we got married, she brought bills. Okay, all right. Oh, thank you, Asha. But appreciate that. I'm humbled by the fact you said I make the best videos. But I had a wife, and I was only making like I was bringing home $1,200 a month with a wife, with a car, with a place to live. She had college loans. She had credit card debt. We built up a Sears credit card. At the end of the month, we had $50, and that $50 was for food and gas, right? And I lived off base, food and gas. So we were leveraged too far. So I got promoted. So I did whatever was necessary in order to get promoted. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about up here, is one of the things you have to do, all right, in order to get yourself into a position where you can build wealth. Because without being prepared for opportunities, every opportunity will continue to pass you by. So you have to get yourself ready. And that's what this is about today, is getting yourself ready for opportunity. You know, some of my friends ask me, how am I always able to land on my feet when things don't seem to go right? Is because I'm always prepared for opportunity, because I live by these standards. There have been times where we have not lived in the best places, and I had to do that in order to make sure that I'm ready and prepared for any opportunities. I've had to downgrade our lives a couple of times over the years because life does happen. Challenges occur. I was on an IT contract and it abruptly ended. So I went from making 120, I believe, yeah, it was 120 that year, to having the contract end. And there was no contracts in sight other than going to Afghanistan. I wasn't going to Afghanistan, right? What's up, John? So let's get into some of these things. And this is coming from The Richest Man in Babylon again, guys. But some of it I've restructured the wording for today. I'm gonna give you a little bit more than what it gives you and related to today. You can't see everything. And I will have to push this way back in order for you guys to see my entire wall. But there's a lot going on my wall, and I'm still working on it, moving it actually. So we're going to talk about, the first thing is 7 cures for a lean bank account. The Richest Man in Babylon is going to call it the 7 cures for a lean purse. This is around chapter 4 or 5 when they go into the Temple of Learning, which I'm going to start the Temple of Learning here in Atlanta, and then another one when I move in a year when I move to another city. And it's going to be a lot more than just finances. What's up, Shondell? Yeah. So the 7 cures to a lean bank account. The first thing, and you know, this video might be long, guys, so I don't know, because I might go into a lot of details now that I'm doing it live. When I was just shooting a video on my phone, I tried to shoot this like 5 times, but I kept stopping because I didn't like it. But the first thing is keeping 10% of what you earn. Now, if you've been following anybody like Dave Ramsey or I forgot some of the other people, but if you follow some of these guys who are just talking about saving money, paying everything with cash, this is one of their things that they talk about as well. And trust me, this is information that used to be only for rich people, you know, because they've known about the Richest Man in Babylon from the Sumerian tablets since the, I think the 1700s. So people have known about it, but rich people knew about it. But keeping 10% of what you earn is yours to keep. 10% of what you earn is yours to keep. And you're going to hear this repeated a couple of times as we go through this. And I know you're saying, some people may say that 100% of what I earn is yours to keep, but no, it's not. You pay taxes right off the top. The governments get their part. Then you have a house or a mortgage or something that you rent or something that you pay a mortgage for. They get a piece of it. You buy food, they get a piece of it. You buy clothes, they get a piece of it. You have a car, they're getting a piece of it for the car loan, for gas. Your money is being dispersed out to all these other people. So your money's not yours. But 10% of it should be yours. 10% of it has to become yours. If you want to bring yourself out of your current financial situation, 10% of every dollar you earn is yours. Like I said, with my kids, every time they got any money, 10% went into a particular jar. All right, when we get to this orange part, we'll talk about that again. But 10% went into their jar to show them and teach them from that age, from when they was like 5 years old, That 10% of what you earn is yours to keep. All right. Hello, Nemo. How you doing? So you have to do that. Now, there's a place for that 10%. See, this is why I want to do this live, because I feel like I can explain things in even more detail. There's a place for that 10%. In today's world, you don't just stuff that 10% in the mattress. You don't just stuff it in a bank account. That's a personal account. Do not put this 10% in a personal account yet. Don't do it. What I want you guys to go out and research is a business trust. Okay? A business trust. Start and create a business trust. I would advise, oh, and let me say this. I'm not, even though I was one of my jobs in the Marine Corps was an accountant, and I worked on the financial systems in the Marine Corps and financial fraud investigator. I am not a certified accountant. I could probably study for 2-3 months and pass the test to be one. I could probably study for another month or two, and I could pass all the Series 6 and the Series 7 and Series 8 tests and become a financial planner, but I am not. What I am is well experienced and well learned, okay? So, and I keep up with today's stuff. Many certified accountants won't tell you the things that I'm telling you right now, or they'll say this is for rich people to do, but this is for anybody to do. So that 10%, set up a trust. Go to a lawyer, have an accountant set that up for you. A business trust. There are many different types of trust. There's a living trust, there's educational trust, but I'm talking about a business trust. Set up a business trust. The reason why you need a business trust, because that 10% is going to be put into a bank account. So you set up the business trust, and then you can set up a bank account based on that trust. This is also going to give you tax benefits. This is also going to give you protection from lawsuits. So you put it in a business trust. Then if it's in a business trust, or you can put it into an LLC that is held in the business trust, because the trust is like a bucket that holds stuff for you. So you get an LLC, put that much 10% in the LLC, put the LLC inside the business trust, right? It's going to give you protection, tax benefits. Then you take that, and now you got that 10% going there. So you're protected from it, and you have tax benefits, okay? So first we're going to put that in a business trust. Oh, and when you set up the trust, you are the director of the trust. So it's like Rockefeller said, own nothing but control everything. Own nothing but control everything. Now, there's a lot more to go into that. Things you buy, things you set up, things you invest in. You don't do it through your personal. You do it through your trust, or you do it through your LLC that's in the trust. And depending upon what you're in, like if you're in real estate, you might want to have a self-directed LLC, or you might want to have an LLC that's taxed as an S corp, or if it's short-term, like a flip, you want to have an S corp and set it up that way and flipping for short-term businesses or opportunities. So like I said, there's a lot more to go into it. This is why, guys, coaching is so vital. I probably spend like a good 15 grand over the last 10 years. I probably spent 15 grand just on seminars, and over the last 10 years, I probably have spent about 30 grand on courses. Okay, so this is why coaching is valuable. But anyway, so for everybody who thinks that, oh, I don't want to pay a coach, I just get everything for free, you're not getting all the information, because there's a lot more to this that I'm not telling you guys. Mainly because I don't have time, and other reasons because that's what I coach people. So here's the thing, selfishly. Now, number 2, control your expenses. Many of you guys are not controlling your money. Now, back in the day, people had a checkbook, right? You were writing in the checkbook everything you spent. But that checkbook didn't give you a picture. You need to see a picture of your money. You need to know where your money is going. Like some of these, like this calendar, it has some of my things to do, but all these white Post-it notes also are telling me the expenses that I have to take care of in order to open my store. And so I got all these to-do expenses on here so that I can see a picture of where I'm going to be spending money over the next 2 weeks, right? Well, next week, because in 2 weeks I expect to open and open my store in the mall. But you got to have a picture of it. Now, beyond this picture, what I use is QuickBooks and Microsoft Money. QuickBooks for business, Microsoft Money for personal. You need to use a program that can spit out you reports to show you where all your money is going. Show you pie graphs and calendars where your money is going. Well, not calendar, but pie graphs and scales to show you where your money. You need to see and track your money. So number 2 is you got to control your expenses. If you're trying to remember it in your head, it won't work. When I was a personal trainer, I made all my clients keep a journal, food journal, an exercise journal, and they have to write what they drink, because they will say, oh, I eat like a bird, or I didn't eat this, and they will forget what they ate. So when the weight didn't come off, if I can show them in their journal, this is why it can come off. But when you have to write it down, your journal, then you're less likely to eat the things that you know you shouldn't, especially with me. Because if I see that you ate like a bunch of chocolate cakes and milkshakes and all that kind of stuff, your workouts are going to be hell. So they wouldn't eat it because they didn't want to write it down, and they didn't want to, because I was their accountability. They didn't want to disappoint me because they would disappoint themselves, and they knew I would work them like nobody's business. So like if I was coaching you guys and financially, I would want to see your budget. I need to see your weekly budget. I need to see where you spent your money. And if I see that you're frivolously spending your money or you're going outside of the program that I've given you, then we're going to have issues. We're going to have a problem. All right? You're going to get some serious accountability. This is another benefit of coaching, but you got to have that. So you need to see a picture and control your expenses. Number 3, invest your 10% that you saved. Okay? So that 10% has to be invested, right? You have to invest the 10%. Now, where you invest it is very vital, and how you invest it is very vital. We're going to get to more of that down in here. But for right now, just you know that you have to invest it. This is why you have the trust, put the money in the LLC, that the LLC sits in the trust, so that when you invest it, you get tax benefit and protections from your personal assets. Some of you who are in insurance may understand this as asset protection, but it does that as well. So you want to protect yourself, because let's say you invest your money into a business and then somebody dies in that business. Well, you're one of the people who's an investor, so you have accountability and liability. And there are ways to add even more protection from that. I met one of my my coaching clients. I was talking to one of my future coaching clients because she hasn't got started yet. Yesterday, and one of the things I looked at her business and I was like, look, you are wide open to be sued to death. But because of how she's wide open, they can sue her and take her house. They can take her personal possessions. So, but if it's in a LLC that's in a trust, they can't attack your personal possessions. They can only go after the LLC, what you have in the LLC, the assets in the LLC, and the assets in the trust. That's it. And then depending upon how things are separated, even more protection. So you want to invest your 10% that's saved, and you want to invest it in things that's going to bring you a return, an income flow, not a return, but an income flow. See, here's the problem. Right now in America, we are headed for another crash in the economy. But understand that money is made during crashes. More people become wealthy during a crash. Right now, the world is producing about 1,500 new millionaires a year, right? And most of those are produced in countries like America, right? 1,500 new millionaires a year. I think that's 1,500 new millionaires a day, actually, around the world. I forgot what the number is for America. But I know that there are like 150,000 or something like that millionaires in America. There's a lot of them, right? You have the opportunity. And most people who are becoming millionaires don't have that. They start out with nothing. Reginald said, I have the same problem. I'm always saving money, but I'm too skeptical on investing it. At least if you invest money, you can grow it. It doesn't grow by saving it. It sure doesn't. It won't. This is why 401ks are horrible. So we're headed for this depression. And a 401k, you're just saving money, right? But your money is decreasing in value, all right? Because you're not, even if your company is matching, even if they're matching, the percentage that your money is growing is not keeping up with inflation. But it's not just inflation, it's also not going to keep up with the value of the dollar. You see, they don't talk to you about the value of the dollar. I'm going to put it to you in these terms. In the next 5-10 years, all those baby boomers are going to start retiring. They put money into Social Security. The government owes them about $112 trillion, right, when you put them all together. The government is only making about $4 trillion a year. So they're short. But what they do is keep printing money. But if you look at the history of Zimbabwe, when Zimbabwe kept printing money, eventually the value of the dollar was so low that to go grocery shopping, you had to have a backpack full of money just to go grocery shopping. America's headed that way right now. So you have to prepare yourself for a short dollar. One of the ways to do that is that you need to start investing. And I understand that you're skeptical. This is where there's some other information that we're going to talk about when we talk about the 5 laws of money. We'll get there about the skepticism. But you have to invest, otherwise your money doesn't grow, right? Yeah, Germany was like that after World War. Actually, Germany was like that after World War I, which prompted them to scapegoat the Jews and use them as a scapegoat so they can start World War II. And then, yes, after World War II, they were exactly like that. But then they rebuilt their economy. But then the European Union, and with Greece having their money being shorted, they tried to take up for Greece, and then it hurt them again. So it's like a cycle. So we have to get ready for it, though. And you have to get ready for your retirement. Think about this. You're putting money in a 401k. Now, if you had a trust, If you have a trust, then you can get a self-directed 401k or a solo 401k, which then you can loan money against your 401k to yourself and pay it back at 12% interest. And then your 401k is making money. You can also loan that to other people, and well, not your immediate family, but you can loan it to other people. Not your husband, wife, children, but you can loan it to other people and get your return on that money and then grow it. Okay, but that's only in a solo 401k or self-directed 401k. All right. Rather than somebody go to the grocery store and spend $80, but only walk out with about 2.5 bags of groceries. Exactly. The value of your dollar is getting is dropping. But when you set yourself up for investing, you have to think in terms of creating cash flow, right? You have to create cash flow. You have to invest in things that's going to bring you. In the richest man in Babylon talks about sending your money out and creating a river of gold. You have to create a river of money coming in. Your savings plans of a 401k is not going to do it. And most people don't have $100,000, $200,000 to invest into the stock market in such a way that they can buy and hold it for several years. This is why patience. Warren Buffett had patience. This is why he became wealthy. But you have to understand, he became rich first by investing in pinball machines. Like, his first business was pinball machines. And then he took money from his business to invest into the stock market. So, but he had a coach, and his coach was Dale Carnegie. So don't just look at Warren Buffett. Look at the fact that Dale Carnegie was his coach, and then he first built a business that had an income stream before he got into stocks. So if you go around, oh, I'm going to buy this blue chip stock in Tesla. You buy 2-3 shares. That's not going to do anything for you. That's not going to do anything for you. You have to put your money somewhere where it's going to bring you a return, right? And you have to, and it doesn't matter where you start. You have to start somewhere. Toilet paper and garbage bags. People always need those. Don't know if one can invest in that. But actually you can. It's funny that you said that, because there are ways that you can build money as far as investments. There's a guy on my Facebook page. I cannot remember his name right now. Donovan something. But this guy, he buys toilet paper and detergent and paper towels from a wholesaler here in Atlanta, and anybody can go there, but he buys it from this wholesaler. You can set yourself up to buy it. He buys it from them, and then utilizing social media, he drives around town selling it, right? Because you're right, people are always going to need that. Like, there are certain things that in every economy people are going to need. They're going to have food, trash bags, toilet paper, housing. People always need those things. So if you're skeptical and you're skittish about investing, then there are certain investments you can get involved in. But if you're leveraged right now at 100%, these are also the kind of investment that you can help to build yourself, to get out of it. You just have to be willing to develop the company and do the work to make it work. There's a guy that comes to my popcorn shop. Him and his wife work. They have kids. They have pretty good jobs. They have good jobs and everything. But this guy, oh, you talking about buying stock in toilet paper and garbage bag? Not sure if that's the thing. It's buying stocks into the company that produces it, but then you have to be mindful of the strength of that company. But again, if you buy stock, Shondell, if you buy stock, unless you're putting $100,000 into that company, and you know that company is on an upward swing to pay out dividends, and don't invest stock into a company that doesn't pay quarterly or annual dividends, then you're wasting your money. But you really got to know that company. You really got to understand where the economy is going and what that company's focus is and what their this is 2018. You need to know their 2050 plan, right? So you have to really get involved with an understanding of the company. I say 2050, but usually they're probably only going out to 2040. But you really got to get involved with that. You would be better served investing in. You'd be better served in creating a dollar store, taking your money, investing in a dollar store, and selling all those things than getting involved into a company, a bigger company. I'm green on all of this. I'd save to pay for your curtain service to get better. And that's one of the things, dude. I've had a coach for most of my life, most of my adult life. And, I got out of the looking for the free information until I went and found one. Yeah, I don't really listen to Dave Ramsey too much because his information is old school, it's old style. It really doesn't work for most Americans or most people, right? It's all right if you're late, you'll catch up. And like I said, unless you have $100,000 or more, don't even look at the stock market. Don't even look at S&Ps. Because here's the thing. The average person who wants to retire, If you're basing it on savings and being able to pull from your savings or pull from your 401ks and things like that, or from stock options, you need to have $1.2 million. 1.2 million. Or you can invest in something over the next you can create something over the next 10 years that gives you a cash flow of $5, $6, $10,000 a month. And that has the ability to increase with inflation. And generally, that's a business or real estate or something like that. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. All right. So, so when I say invest, yes, every time I'm saying investing, unless you are already very financially well off, it's not in the stock market at all. At all. Right? The stock market is not for the average person. This is why they have, oh God, I forgot what it's called. I forgot what it's called when you're a certain type of investor, where if you're a single person, then you have to have a income of $250,000. If you're married, it's $300,000. I think it's called a certified investor or something like that. You have to be at that state before you really somebody that they take seriously. Other than that, they're not taking you seriously. They're just looking at you as a great way to boost their money, which is why they have so many fees. When you look at all the fees on mutual funds and stock buy purchases and all that, they may say, oh, get 12% or 18%. You're not getting 12 or 18%. You got to take away all them fees. And there's the 2% here and 1% there and 3% there. Next thing you know, your 12% has dwindled down to like 3 and 4%, which is why most people in that state aren't set up. There was a great story about the older guy who worked in a parking lot. Now he has a portfolio of $700,000. But if he lives past 20 years after retirement, he will not have enough money. He will not have enough money. Every house and business on the earth needs garbage bags, even the places in the market. And it does. Every house does need that. Would I know what, see those acorns and stash and all that kind of stuff? No, I would not. And I understand what, Dr. Boris Watkins do, but here's the thing. I just study rich people, and I study how they became rich and then how they stay rich. That's it. I study ancient people, people from the 1800s. That's why I started this video talking about the Vanderbilts. And I study people who are rich today. And they didn't get rich by investing in the stock market. Everybody looks at Warren Buffett, but Warren Buffett didn't get rich by investing in the stock market. And what Warren Buffett is saying today, because of the value of the dollar, that he would be buying rental homes left and right. That he would buy every rental home. He will be buying tax liens to get rental homes, to get homes without having to pay a mortgage. That's what Warren Buffett is saying today, that he would do. If he was starting today to build his empire, he would be buying rental home properties, because no matter what the economy is, everybody needs a place to live, right? So, yep, what books they read, but look at what they're doing. Look at what they're doing. Like I just said, Warren Buffett is talking about buying real estate, buying rental homes, right? I'm buying tax liens right now. I'm buying tax liens on properties, and I have the patience to wait a year. In Georgia, it's only a year, but you can buy tax liens in all over the place. I've learned so much about tax liens in the last 6 months. And see, that's what I did. 6 months ago, I started studying tax liens. Went to a seminar, started studying tax liens, and talked to some other people who are doing well in tax liens, so that I can have a very good understanding of them, know how to research them, know how to research more information beyond just the fact that it has a tax lien, because there's so many other things going on with it. You really got to get in there, right, and understand it. Because I'm doing that because in 3 months, my daughter, my 22-year-old, she will be starting to buy tax liens as well. So I've got to make sure that I have the information to train her properly in how to buy them. So it's a long play. One of my coaches, he's the one who actually got me started with the thought process of it, and he has 53 homes right now that brings him a monthly income of $35,000 a month. $35,000 a month. He's not concerned about inflation. He could stop working today and he has enough income coming in. You see, that's how you create it. That's how you create cash flow. You understand what I'm saying? We have to create cash flow. That's what the investment is. Now, where were we? I think I did number 4. Nope, that was number 3. So number 4 is then you have to learn how to guard your money against loss, right? Guard your money against loss. Different concept. Now, in The Richest Man in Babylon, he's talking about investing wisely, and you have to invest wisely. But he's also talking about where you stash your money. So this is where we put our money in LLCs, put that LLC in a trust. But we also are putting it in banks, not putting it under the mattress. We're not putting it into, see, when you put your money into a stock or a mutual fund, you're trusting someone else to manage your money properly. Right? When you put it in a 401k, you're trusting someone else to manage your money properly, and you don't even know the people or who they're putting it into. But let's say you were coming to me and say, hey, Coach Renz, I see your business. I want to franchise of what you're doing, right? Atlanta is a perfect place to start a small business. It is a perfect place. There's a lot of perfect places though. Wherever city you're in, there's a business to be started, especially when it depends on what you're looking at. And but here's another thing. Oh, I was talking about a guy. No, I ain't gonna go back to that. So where you put your, so if you coming to me and you said that, right? You need to understand me. You need to know my purpose. You need to know my plan, and you need to see my actions. You need to know at least enough about my industry and where I'm headed and what I'm looking to create before you say, hey, I want to put, can I buy into a franchise of what you're doing, right? And my franchise situation right now is totally different. I'm not doing regular franchise where you get to be the franchisee. I'm doing corporate run franchises where I'm running everything. You're not running nothing, because right now I just don't want people. I studied Ray Kroc and how he built McDonald's, and I see the struggle he went through, the struggle the McDonald's brothers went through when they first started, and what Ray Kroc went through when they first started, and they just put franchisees out there, and quality control went down south. So my first thing is corporate run franchises where I'm still in charge of all the quality control to make sure that the first 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 of my stores are ran exactly how I want them to be ran, exactly, and I'm protecting my brand, but I want them to be ran my way, because what I'm looking to create is a worldwide company, and that brand is vital. And in today's world with social media, if your brand got messed up in DC or Miami, 50 years ago, only those people may know about it. In today's world, your brand gets messed up in one city, the world knows about it. So it's about control right now. That's why most people who come to me about a franchise, they don't like my deal. Because my deal is that corporately we're going to own 51% and you're going to own 49%. But you're paying for everything. And you're paying all the fees and everything else. But you're going to, instead of paying royalties, you never pay a royalty. We just have a ownership split, and we have to grow it the way I want to grow it. I did franchises. I did two, and it was horrible. And I had the same problem Ray Kroc had, so that's why I stopped. But I'm taking a different approach than what he took after that. So anyhow, but this is where we have to guard our money against loss, right? So I'm guarding my company against loss of branding. You have to guard your money by knowing. You have to study the people that you're working with. Steroid bust in my head, ruined C.T. Fletcher's business. That has its origins in. I didn't know C.T. Fletcher's business was ruined. He's funny though. I'm gonna have to research that. But so you protect your money against loss. Really know who you're investing with and how you're investing, but understand how money is working. See, you need to know this stuff in order for it to work. And most people aren't gonna do this stuff I'm telling you to do because it feels overwhelming. It'll feel overwhelming. And as you grow, you're gonna need a team. Like probably in about 6 months, I'll hire a personal assistant, because the things that I'll be doing in 6 months from now will be too much for me to be able to handle. Hell, what I'm doing right now is too much for me to handle. So, it does become too much work. So you hire people to help you. And some of the things you can do, you can go to Fervor and hire people to do certain small things for you, where you only pay them $10, $20 a month for a session, because most of these people are like in countries where $10 is a lot of money, so you got to get a team of people working with you as you grow. Number 5 is make your home an investment. This one, there's another thing I want to put right here, but I didn't have blank white paper to do it. Most people don't understand. If you read Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he talks about assets and liabilities. The first thing you have to understand is what's your assets, liability, a balance sheet, right? So when you get a balance sheet, you understand what's an asset, what's a liability. Currently in America, most people, home is a liability. Your house is a liability. Unless your house is making money for you, it's a liability. So how can your house become an asset in today's world, right? Now, one thing, by owning your home, you're paying for it. You're not paying rent, but you're owning the house. And depending on what we're doing, depending on what your plan is, sometimes it's better to rent than it is to own. But if you're owning your house is a liability. So you need to flip your house into an asset. And here's one way you could do that. So you have a house. Let's say you buy a tax lien, or you have a house and you have equity in your house. Either way, you have equity in your house. You take the equity from your house, take the equity out, and then buy you a rental property like a duplex. And then you take the equity from that, if you can, buy you another duplex. But get you about 4 or 5 renters, right, in different situations. Once you got about 4 or 5 renters who are paying enough money that there's enough cash flow coming off that to pay for your house, then you've used your house. Now you see you've used your house in order to create revenue, right? Or you want maybe a house as an Airbnb and you use it to create revenue. Now I will say, do the research before you say, oh, I'm about this house turn to Airbnb, because like here in Atlanta, in DeKalb County, you can't it's against the law to do an Airbnb, right? It's against the law. You can't set up an Airbnb in DeKalb County. I mean, people do it, but if they ever get told, there's a fine that they'll have to pay. If anybody ever tell them, there's a fine. So make sure you do your research. Do your research before you do it. But take your house and do it that way. If you can Airbnb a room in your house, let your house needs to make money for you, right? If you don't like having people staying in your house, Airbnb, then use the equity to buy you some other properties, or use the equity to start another kind of business or invest in someone else's business. But use the equity. It's pointless to have your house sitting there with equity and you're not using it to build your empire, okay, to build financial wealth. So you got to turn your house into that. And then when your house gets paid off, of course, now you have so much equity in that house that you can, every time you need to buy more, you have that. And it's also a collateral that you have. How about renting to Section 8? Renting Section 8 is great because I did it. I had a house. The mortgage on it was the mortgage on it was $954, something like that. It was $998. When Obama came out with his little program, I got the mortgage to $534, and then I rented it at Section 8 at $900. Section 8 paid me like $800 and something, so that took care of that plus profit. And then the other person only had to pay me like $100 and something. I rented at $950, and so they only had to pay me like $150. But yeah, so I rented Section 8. It was guaranteed money. I did all my inspections though. I inspect that doggone house like every 3 months, every quarter, to make sure that they're not doing any damage. But even if it wasn't a Section 8 person, I would still inspect the house. And then I got a management company to run it as well. Which, as you gain properties, get a management. Now, I would do a management company on the first property. But I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't worry. But this is where I kept putting money in escrow because I know there may be some damage. But I had their security deposit, but I also had money in escrow just in case there's damage. But the management company helps you get another renter in there pretty quick. So let's move on. Make your number 6, ensure future income. Now the way to ensure future income is by investing in something that's growing, something that's creating cash flow. If you get hurt, if you become disabled, you need to have income coming in. So real estate is the best way to invest. No other top dog ways to invest. Real estate is one of the best ways to invest. Other than that, it's businesses. Small business, mom and pop businesses that have a potential of growth. And it doesn't have to have that potential of growth to become like a Walmart or something like that. It can have that potential. There's a company here in Atlanta called This Is It. It's a restaurant. They've been in Atlanta for about 30 some odd years. They have like 7 shops open. It's a multi-million-dollar company, right? If you had got involved with that company 20 years ago or 30 years ago, or even like 10 years ago, because their true expansion didn't really kick in until 10 years ago. If you were able to get involved with them, you could be earning $50,000 a year just from that one investment, just for being a part of that company. And one of the things we have to recognize, I love these shows like The Prophet, right? You see the show The Prophet, one of the things I love about, he'll show that he got a restaurant, and just by cutting certain things and saving 5% on inventory or something like that, or 5% on something, how it brings in another $80,000 a year into the company, or 20 or 30,000. Those small profit things like that, those small little things that create more profit, are huge to people who know that they're growing a business, because when they say I got one and this one is saving is making me an extra 20 or 30, now if I got five, that extra 20 or 30 is times five. So we look at companies that grow like that. The fact that my store is going into a mall, I'm looking at where I'm going to save money now, and that saved money goes down towards profit. So let's say I'm going to make like 2 or 3 times as much as I was making in the previous location. But if I was making the exact same as I was making in the previous location, just on the reduction in rent alone is I haven't done the math on this, but it's around $19,000 that will become now that can stay with the company. Remember, wealth is about how much money you keep, right? So now an extra $19,000 a year stays with the company. And if I do that again and do it again in the next 3, 4, 5 stores, that 19,000 is multiplied. You see what I'm saying? So we can't look for the home run. First base, second base, third base. You know, once you get, I love listening to this guy, Gary Vaynerchuk, right? As far as marketing is concerned. But he'll tell you about his own investments. He had to build his way up before he had the opportunity to invest in Uber and Facebook and all of that. You don't get a chance to get to the home runs until you first build a whole bunch of small steps to get there. So every piece of profit is valuable. So that's why and you ensure future income by having continuous flow of money, right? Continuous flows of money. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Even if you there's a guy, I wasn't going to tell you about this guy because I started, but then I stopped. He used to come to my store all the time. Well, he still will. Come to my store all the time. He goes to like places like Ross and Marshalls and all that, and he'll find where they're selling on clearance. They got some Jordans or they got some Under Armour gear. He'll buy it on clearance and then put it on to Craigslist and eBay and all that kind of stuff and sell it for 2, 3 times as much as he paid for it. He makes an extra $1,200 a month doing that. Now, and he's just playing around with it because he only goes like twice a month to go shopping. Now, imagine if he was doing this consistently and then going to estate sales and finding things from estate sales, and he just consistently putting stuff online and selling it. He could be making an extra $2,000, $3,000 a month, $4,000 a month if he put in a more effort and energy into it. So he has a method of creating cash flow for himself. Now, imagine if he decided to bring on some assistants and other people who go out and shop for him, and he's putting it out there and really pushing it. Now he can make money off other people who are doing the work as well. So you can create your own business or you can get involved with somebody else who has one. All right. But there are different ways. You just have to be creative. You have to be more creative. All right. And then see where things are going. Now, the 7th one is increase your ability to earn. Now, how do you increase your ability to earn? One easy way is you take an hour a day and study your industry and in 5 years, you'll become an expert in your industry. And experts are paid more money. Experts are worth more money. Experts can demand more money, right? All this stuff I'm telling you guys now, I didn't start studying this like a couple of months ago. I've been doing this since 1993, right? Since 93. Now I've had my ups and downs, different things happen. Like I said, my IT contract I don't know if I said this on this or I said it on when I was previously trying to record this, but my IT contract ended in 2003 abruptly. And so I went from 120,000 a year to nothing. And even though I had 2 years of life in the bank, you'll be surprised at how quickly 2 years of life go away when you're trying to recapture that 120,000, that you was making. And it took me 4 years actually to get back and earn income of that because I switched industries, right? But if I had stuck with that industry, one of my best friends, he stuck with the industry and now he makes over $200,000 a year, all right? So, but he did that by continuously educating himself. If you're not in whatever industry you're in, there are seminars for you to go to. There are training courses for you to go to. There are coaches that you can go to. You got to continue to increase your ability to earn. There are books you need to read. But also increase your ability to earn by getting the financial understanding, the financial knowledge of how to and where to invest your money and understanding people and what companies to invest. See where the market is going. See how things are trending, right? To listen to a guy like Warren Buffett who says that right now he'd be buying real estate. Get involved in talking about toilet paper and garbage bags to figure out a way that you can maybe buy in bulk from overseas and then sell it here. There are different ways you can do to increase your ability to earn. Now, those are the 7 cures for a lean bank account, which so that's like chapter 4. Now, when he talks about his son Namasir, this is in the 5 laws of money. Before I talk about this part, what I want you guys to understand is that this is why I said earlier, the Vanderbilts lost, right? They lost their wealth. Many people today's children are not going to do better than what they are doing because we're not teaching them how to earn. We give them a softball. We coddle our kids. Here in Atlanta on a radio station a couple of days ago, they was talking about are we babying our kids too much, and are we setting them up for failure? And we really are setting them up for failure, right? And the reason why they're set up for failure is because we're not teaching them how to earn. I know many people don't like the Rothschilds, but I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. What I admire about Mayer Rothschild is that he set his family up with the understanding that if you don't show that you can earn, you don't get to participate in the Rothschild family bank. You don't get to come to the Rothschild family bank and pull those loans to go and start businesses and to create empires if you don't show that you can earn. This is why that family has been around since the mid-1800s, I believe. It's the mid-1800s or late 1800s. But they've been around since the mid-1800s. They've been around. They participated. They would play both sides of the field on World War I and II. But this is why that family, every generation has learned they earn. They continue to earn, right? So we have to teach our kids to continue to earn, and they have to. I tell in another video I just did, I told you guys, I'll cut my kids off if they don't show that they can earn. If they don't want to learn how to earn and they don't demonstrate it, I won't bring them into my business. I won't let them control nothing. All my kids have had to pop popcorn. They've had to do, when I had the gyms, they had to clean the gym equipment. But I taught them how to earn. When they never got an allowance for free. They had to earn their allowances because they earn money. And now that they're older, they still have to learn how to earn. My daughter just switched into the IT industry. She has to learn how to earn before I say, all right, Sydney, here we go. Let's go. And she had to prove to me that she was ready to go do tax liens. That's why I gave her things to do between now and she has a couple more months to get herself prepared to do it. If she doesn't do it, I'm not going to say, okay, don't worry about it. Daddy's going to buy your first one. That's not going to happen. I told her what to do over the next few months so she can buy her first one, right? And then how we're going to set that up going forward. Teach your kids how to earn, right? If you don't, in the five laws of money, it's called the 5 laws of gold in the Richest Man in Babylon. The Arcad, the richest man in Babylon, gave his son Nomasir 5 bags of gold. I believe it was 5 bags. No, it wasn't 5 bags. He gave him a bag of gold or 2 bags of gold. No, it was a bag. It was 1 bag of gold. Gave him 1 bag of gold. And he also gave him the 5 rules of money. A tablet, 5 rules of money, 1 bag of gold. Sent him away. Said if you go out 10 years later, come back and report. And if you've shown yourself worthy, you get to get all this that I've created, right? When normally in their culture, the oldest son just gets it. He just inherits the money, right? Inherits the estate. But Arcad went against tradition. The Rothschilds go against tradition of saying, I'm leaving an inheritance. No, I'm leaving an inheritance if you've proven that you can earn. So Nomasir goes off to Nineveh. He loses all his money because he didn't follow the rules. And then he starts following the rules. But understand, he went to being dead broke, homeless. Then he remembered the tablet that his father gave him, started applying those tablets. And in 10 years, when he came back to his father, he presented him with the bag of gold to replace the one that his father gave him. Then he gave him 2 more bags of gold to show that he valued for the 5 rules, to show him that he valued the tablets, the information, more than he valued the actual gold his father gave him. And then he expressed these 5 rules of money to explain to his father what he went through, his father and mother, what he went through. But then after that, his father gladly turned the empire over to him. So this is what I tell my kids. Unless you show me that you have the ability to learn and earn, you do not get whatever I create. I would give it away to charity first. Or I would give it to somebody else who maybe start with me today and they've shown that they're willing to do what's necessary. I'd rather give it to them than to give it to my kids if I know that they're just going to waste it. Because I'd be a pissed off ghost. And some people may think that's mean. But if I don't give it to them, maybe that will be the pain that they feel when they're in their 50s or 60s or whatever when I pass on. Well, I plan on living about 300 years. Maybe that's enough pain that they need to feel in order to get up off their butt and learn, right? And that's why I tell you guys, these videos I make, This is for you guys, but this is also for my children. So that 40, 50 years from now, they can say, what was my daddy teaching me? And they can find it. So 5 laws of money. All right. The first one, a tenth of what you earn is yours to keep. Again, the Richest Man will push this all day. A tenth of what you earn is yours to keep. If you're living off 100% of what you earn, you have got to find ways to reduce your expenses. You have to do it. You have to reduce them. All right. Turn off the damn cable. Just have internet. Turn, whatever you got to do. My answer is always I go sell some stuff to earn more money. Y'all know, hey, this was because I say, hey, it's a great idea. Something that I can do. I like selling stuff. I'm 40 and brokish. Wish I had the toolage as a youngster. And you know what I'm going to say to that, Shondell? Because I used to say, man, I still tell my kids, if when I was a kid, if I had a father, if I was my kid's father, if I had a father like me, I'll be rich. I'd be super rich by now, right? We can go back and change the past. All we can do is take the knowledge we have now and apply it. All right. So I stopped saying, man, if I knew back then, I know now. Even though we know better, we don't necessarily do better. So we have to take this information now and start making changes. This is why patience is vital. Is it harder now that we're older and we have all these responsibilities? Sure it is. Sure, of course it is. If you're if you have $100,000 in debt right now, is it harder? Because when you was 18, 20 years old, you only had maybe like $2,000 in debt? Sure, it's harder. But guess what? So, who cares? I don't care. You can do it now. You get the information now and you start applying it. It may take you 2-3 years to get your debt ratio low enough so that you can start investing properly. But here's the thing. You invest now anyway. You got to figure that 10%. Look, bro. For a while, I was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich eating fool. All right. After I got divorced the second time and everything went to hell in a handbasket back in 2015, 2016, I was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich eating fool. Bananas are cheap. My fruit was on. I ate so many damn bananas, it was crazy. I drink water. I don't like drinking water, faucet water, but during that time frame, I'm gonna have to put all that damn fluoride in my system. But I did whatever I had to do in order to make sure get my debt to income ratio down so that I can get my debt. And we're gonna go over some of the debt part that's right here in a minute of what you can start doing. Asha said she's eating a peanut butter and jelly. I'm serious, man. You got to be willing to do whatever you have to do. Definiteness of purpose, definiteness of plan, definiteness of action. You have to do it. All right. So 10% of what you earn is yours to keep. Now I talked about that earlier. 10% of yours is yours to keep. You have to get that 10%. If you're at 100 right now, you got to get that 10%. You got to get down so that you can invest it. Right. Then the second thing, the other law of money, is that you have to employ your money. Your money is like employees. That money's job is to go out and get more money. I like to say my money is like Marines, because I was in the Marine Corps. It need to go out and conquer, bring home some prisoners of war, which is other money, recondition that money to go out and conquer and get me some more money. Create that river of gold until that money is overflowing and now I can live off just my investments. Anytime you have that money coming in, you invest, that money returns back out to go get more money. Don't eat the children that your money creates. All right, don't eat that. Now, if you was reading The Richest Man in Babylon, you would learn that in the second chapter. The first chapter is The Men Who Wanted Money. The second chapter is Arcad, the richest man in Babylon. And this is what Arcad's teacher, Arcad had a coach. He had a coach. But Arcad's coach had taught him that you don't, Arcad saved up a year's worth of his income, 10% over a year, 10% of a year of his income. He invested it, but he lost it. And then he saved up again. He invested it. He was making money, but he took the profits of the money to buy stuff instead of sending it back out to make more money. You have to send it back out to make more money. All right. So as my store makes money, the majority of the profit will be sent out to open up more stores, will be sent out to buy real estate properties, will be sent out to buy tax liens. It has to keep going out until the stores and the real estate is bringing in the amount of money that I want to have. And for me, it is a need, even though for most people it's not. My need is different. Okay, you can say what you want to say about me, about how I want to live, but I'm living high. How does it say, high on the hog? Okay, because there are places I want to go and things I want to do that $5,000 a month just ain't gonna do it. Okay, so you have to send your money out to bring in more money. So you have to employ your money, give your money a job. This is why in the stock market, that's not a job. You know, in these mutual funds and 401k, your money's not out there making money for you. It's not enough. And you got to be beating inflation. That's why and it has to be income based, so that as inflation goes up, your income is going up, right? Number 3, right, is wise counsel is required. That's another rule of money. Because the first, what's the saying? No, that's number 4. You got to get good counsel on your money. I studied tax lien for 6 months. But before I studied the tax liens for 6 months, my coach was already, he has 53 houses, like I said earlier. He taught me a bunch of stuff first before I started studying. And then from his information and what he told me to study, I went and studied that information for 6 months. So I had to get wise counsel from somebody who was already making money with houses and bought tax. And he did it different ways. He bought tax liens. He went to the auctions. He bought distressed property from banks. So he bought it different ways, and he has a little system. If he doesn't make from the money that it cost him to buy the house plus, okay, he looks at how much it costs to buy the house, what it costs to get the house ready for rental, and then that total amount, whatever the rent is, has to recoup that money in 5 years. If it won't recoup that money in 5 years, he won't buy the house. He won't buy that property. That's his standard. He has to recoup his entire investment within 5 years, and the house be scot-free, free and clear in 5 years. That's how he does it. But now he has, like I said, 53 houses that pay him $35,000 a month in revenue. And there's no mortgages on any of those houses. So I'm saying, that's his process. So I follow, I'm thinking I'm doing along the line the same thing, because I'm listening to wise counsel, somebody who has made some money that way, right? If you ask, if I was coaching you, but I don't know your industry, what I would do is, like, let's say, what did Reginald say? He was in the plastics, doing plastic and trash and all that, trash bags and stuff. If I don't know your industry, and Shondell talked about garbage bags, now, if I don't know it and you say you wanted me to coach you, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and study the hell out that industry, and I'm going to go find those people who are successful and study the hell out those people. So that when I'm coaching you, I'm utilizing information from people who were successful in it and how they got there. Now, but the thing about it is that because I've studied successful people in multiple industries and I found their commonalities, then because I found their commonalities, I then can coach people on how to be successful, because I understand the common things that people need in order to be successful. Like, one little hint here is, if you don't have a checklist, and you should have this just for your life. Like I said in the beginning of this video, live your life like a major corporation, run your life like a major corporation. You should have a checklist of all the different stupid things you've done and mistakes that you've made, so that you have it written down as a checklist to not do that again, right? Just like if you know that you've, let's say you went on a vacation to a place and the place was horrible. You mentally have a checklist of what to look for next time you go to any place that's similar to that. Or if you want to take a vacation, have a checklist. Checklists are amazing things. If you ever watched the movie The Founder, the McDonald's brothers had checklists for every goddamn thing. They would walk around with that damn clipboard like a big dog. Ray Kroc developed the same tendencies to have a checklist to make sure that everything was going the way it's supposed to go. When I open up the next store of Uncle Ren's Popcorn, there's a checklist of everything I'm looking for, as far as even finding the location, how to look for it, what I'm looking for, what works, what doesn't work, how to set it up, all the things questions I need to be asking. There's a checklist. You have to have a checklist. Follow your checklist, right? You have to do that. That is a key to being successful. And what else does having a checklist mean? It means that you're organized. So you have to be organized. If your house is in disarray, if your office is in disarray, if you're not organized, if things aren't in proper place, then you're not ready. You got to get yourself in position to be ready. So you have to, that's what wise counsel does, and it gives you that accountability. It gives you, I'm not trying to sell you guys on my coaching. Just get a dang on coach. Please get somebody, and stop looking for the free ones, because the free ones is not giving you that vital information, right? And nor are you being held accountable. I used to listen to Tony Robbins and Zig Ziglar and Jim Rohn, and I used to listen to their stuff every day, over and over and over again, which was good. But until I got a coach who was making me accountable every day, every week, I was just listening. I was just listening. And it helped, but I was just listening, okay? I don't trust too many people. You don't have to trust them. Trust their experience, though. Trust their experience. I listen to, I just call him Doc because he's also a doctor, right? You can. And I appreciate that, Shondell. But I listened to Doc. He kept coming into my store. I kept asking him questions. I got to know him a little bit. I call him Doc because he also owns like 73 pain clinics here in Georgia, right? And so he's a doctor. And as we talked and I started to understand more and more about him, I saw what he's done. I trust his actions. I trust what he's done, right? And he also has this medical loan company that he makes like crazy money. He'll flip $80,000 into $160,000 in like 4 months. So it's like, damn. But I'll get there. So we have to have wise counsel is required. Because wise counsel is required because of rule number 4. A fool and his money are separated, right? Right? If you are unwise with money, you will be separated from it. How many times have you seen the lottery winner then become poor? The lottery winner become broke. The lottery winner doesn't continue to grow their money. That happens because they're a fool with money. There's a difference between having money and having wealth. Having wealth is being able to keep your money and grow your money. Having money is just you have it. You win the lottery, you win $10 million, you got it, but then you're broke. Within 3 to 4 or 5 years, you're broke, right? So a fool and his money is easily separated. So you have to be wise in how to use money and how to evaluate investments. If you're not, then you will be separated from that money and find yourself in the same situation that you were in previously before having the money, right? So you have to go out and acquire the information. And that one is very similar to 3, so I'm just going to leave that right there with that understanding. And then number 5 is impossible gains empty your wallet. You can't send your money out for impossible gains. Now, there is something that was said on one of the people on my Facebook, Brittany Hill. She has a lot of good quotes that she put out and things she say. I'm going to combine that with another quote, and I can't remember who said it. I think Rockefeller said it, but no, Rockefeller said, own nothing, own nothing but control everything. I can't remember who said it, but anyway, the rich can disappear at the end of the crazy summer, but wealth will be here for generations. Exactly, it will be. But somebody said that religion is the opioid of the masses. And then Brittany said behind that MLMs are the most cultish thing going on today. MLMs are a great idea of this. Impossible gains empty your wallet. Because the basic way that most MLMs are sold to you is impossible gains for your small investment. Oh, only invest $100, $200, $500, and you can make $10,000 a month. All right, you're expected to make impossible gains with your money. When you go gambling at the casino, without a strategy, without planning, without being able to card count, without being able to know the tales of people and the strategies behind these games and things like that, you're expecting your money to create impossible gains, which is why the house generally wins, right? The house generally wins, but you're expected to do impossible gains. You go and spend your $2 on a lottery ticket. You're expecting impossible gains from your $2. 99% of the people will never win the lottery. 99.999% will never win the lottery. Just like in network marketing, 98% of the people never make a profit. Now I want you to think about that. People are jumping into those companies left and right, knowing or not knowing, but either way, 98% fail, never make any money. Now I want you to think about this. Most mom and pop business, most companies that are started, 60% of those fail. Which one is the wiser investment? A network marketing company or any other brick and mortar? Remember, like the network, one of the things about it, and if you're in a network marketing company, no disrespect to you, but here's the thing. If you're not treating it like a full-time job, you're never going to be successful in it. You have to get out there and treat it like a full-time job or you will never make money on it. I've done 2 network marketing companies before. And in both cases, I was able to make money off of them. But the only reason I made money off of them is because I treated them like full-time jobs, right? And I did have a goal at the end. I had a goal at the end. I reached the goal, and then one just stopped because it was the company. I knew that it wasn't going to last that long anyway. Um, it was called Fortune High Tech Marketing, so I knew they weren't going to last long because their products weren't something that you really was going to help people with. Uh, Shondell said Herbalife. They just like the hope that they get from me. Right, it's the hope. But and the other one was, oh gosh, it was a weight loss program. And I was in the fitness industry. I had just got out of the fitness industry, but I only did it because my ex-wife at the time, she wanted another car, and you get to a certain level and you get a car. So that was the only reason I did it. And I wanted to show her how to do it so that she can, have something else to do. But she didn't pick it up and run with it after that, so I didn't care anymore. But like, you can make money off of them, but it's unlikely that you will unless you treat it like a full-time job and learn all the nuances of how to be a great salesperson. If you don't want to learn how to be a great salesperson, then you're not going to be successful. And you need to learn how to be a great salesperson no matter what you want to do. The reason why my daughter got well, I ain't gonna say it's the reason, but my daughter told me she wanted to switch to IT. I told her what books to go read for to get an entry-level IT job. She had a friend who had got that entry-level IT job. I told her, go get his resume, and I want you to and they did the similar work before he got that job. Conform your resume to fit his, just like his is. And then when she did that and she got an interview, before going to the interview, I coached her on the interview process, and I coached her on what she needed to be able to say and do. Told her what to go read again as far as the IT books that she had went and picked up, and how to do the interview. She did everything perfect except one thing that I told her not to do. She went in there and did it, but she got the job. So I coached my daughter into getting this job because she was making a change. But I taught her how to sell herself, how to be a great salesperson. And that's actually how she became successful working in a Sprint store and becoming one of the best salespeople in her store. Actually, she's the best salesperson in her store. She had to fall in love with being a salesperson. Everyone should fall in love with being a salesperson, because when you go on an interview, you're selling yourself to become a great member of their team. They don't interview you unless they already know you're qualified, but are you a good fit for their team? You got to sell yourself to it, right? And there's a gentleman who I'm in contact with. He's going for a job interview soon. I got him going through some processes to help him with his job interview as well. But you got to be a great salesperson. You have to get yourself into that mindset. Where we at? But you can't expect impossible gains with your money. I would be foolish if I was saying that I'm opening a store in South DeKalb Mall. It's going to make $1 million the first year. That's an impossible gain at this current location, right? With the amount of traffic that comes into that mall right now, that's not going to happen. Okay, that's an impossible gain. Now, let's say I was putting it in this other mall that I'm looking at for a second mall. That one, I can get close, but $1 million would still be impossible. But let's say there's a third mall that I'm also looking at, and if I got into that mall, now that mall, $1 million annually is not an impossible gain. It's just not easy to get into that mall, but that's not an impossible gain. So you can't expect your money to make these impossible gains. You have to be real. You should be unrealistic with your goal, but have a realistic steps to get there, right? Meaning that, I have a goal that by the end of this year, I'll have 10,000 subscribers on my YouTube. It's a stretch. It's pushing it. I got to have some things that go pretty doggone viral in order to get people there. That's why the new requirement for you to get, I'm going to go and tell you the secret. It's one of my things. The new requirement, because I have a YouTube coach now. Okay, so I'm paying for a YouTube coach. What about the mall in Sugarloaf? That's a mall that I'll look at. I'm looking at all the malls in the Atlanta area. So let me just put it that way. And it's all about availability as well, and the cost of getting in and where they will let me be, because I've learned a lot. I've researched malls and I've got a checklist for malls. But you made me forget what I was saying. I know I was talking about impossible gains. Can't expect impossible gains. The different malls that I want to get into. Hell, I forgot. I don't know. Moving along then. That's the hard part about doing this live, is that I know I can get thrown off from where I was at. YouTube coach. So my YouTube coach, I'm talking to him, and I had told him, I said, well, before I had got the coach, I had made a goal of by the end of this year having 10,000 subscribers. It's not an impossible thing to get, but with my subject matters, with all the different variations of my subject matter, He did tell me it's going to be a little bit more difficult. If I was focused in on one thing, then that would be easier for me to get. But I told him that I refuse to focus on one thing because I'm more than just one thing. And I want to share a full scope of knowledge that I do have and what I learn and what I do grow into. So one of the things he said, well, the reason why I started doing giveaways, that was his advice, to start doing giveaways. That'll encourage more subscribers and make people be a subscriber to win. That will encourage more subscribers. And then also he just recently was like, hey, here's the deal. Make people share the video to be part of, to win, to be a part of it. Because if they share it, then that's going to draw more people, and then you should get more subscribers. So I'm working with a coach for YouTube, because a lot of YouTube videos tell you, oh, you can get more, you can get this many, get that many. It's a lot of bull, right? Or they're not telling you those small details. So I'm working with somebody who, they have over 1 million subscribers to their YouTube channel. So, and I'm paying a dude to do it, to coach me in that, because YouTube, I got bigger plans for what I want to use YouTube for in the next 5 years. And see, this is a 5-10 year play for me, right? And you have to have that kind of patience if you want to be successful in anything. But I'm not expecting that. So will I get to 10,000? He told me might be a stretch, but he's giving me the things that I need to do now in order to get myself there, because I'm at like 2,800 right now. So that's why y'all got to share the video in order to be in the drawing. So that's those. Now that's from The Richest Man in Babylon. 7 lean cures for a bank account, and then 10 laws of money. Now when we get here, this is also portioned from The Richest Man in Babylon. This here is my own version of things that I've experienced, things I've done, and how to get there in today's world. Okay, so because if you read The Richest Man in Babylon, your budget is vital. And that's what we're going to talk about next, is your budget. My budget plan is 70-10-10-10. You guys have heard me talk about this before. My 70-10-10-10 plan. In Jim Rohn, his version of it takes you down to a 50-10-10-10-10-10-10. T. Harv Eker, I went to his 3-day intensity program. I went through that back in 2005, I believe. His is get you down to 50% as well. Most of these programs, they get 50%. You need to be your necessities should be 50%. And I found 50% in today's world, unless you're making a lot of money, is very difficult, especially if you're already an adult, because most people aren't making enough money to live off 50%, like where your necessities is only 50%. So I rearranged their programs to make mine a 70-10-10-10. Now in the Richest Man in Babylon program, it was 80-10-10, right? But some of the things in the 80 I felt should be broken out into its own category so that you don't overspend in certain categories. So that's why mine became a 70-10-10-10, right? So this plan, after I did The Richest Man in Babylon the first time in the 90s, and then when I had to go through it again when I got out of the Marine Corps and I had a business, and then we decided to move back to Florida, and I couldn't get my business started and had to reshuffle all my finances. I said, okay, I can't do, Richest Man in Babylon version didn't work because the accountability of certain funds just weren't there. So I need to separate one of these 10% into another area. And that developed the 10-10-10, the 70-10-10-10, which this version of my plan started in, that was 2000. Yeah, the year 2000. So since the year 2000, this is how I live my life, right? No matter what has happened in my life, I live my life based on this. So this plan goes 70% pays for your necessities. You've got to get your necessities to where it's 70%. Now, if you want to buy a house, your debt to income ratio can only be 40%, right? That's not the same here. That's not this. This is your debt to income, all the things you have to pay, but also your food. Because when you're buying a house, they don't count food, they don't count all that stuff. But your food, your insurances, your travel, your car, your mortgage, your rent, your utility bills, all those things can't be past 70%. All right. Now, and if you get with somebody, you marry somebody, you're dating somebody, y'all living together, y'all combine resources, whatever you're doing, if that takes you over, this is why it's vital that you use something like, there's something vital like QuickBooks or Microsoft Money to track your money. But I think I put it on there. I have to check before I say it. But I believe And I don't want to say it's on there, and I can't put it on there because my laptop is in repair shop right now. So I know the document is not free, it's not available for me to get it. But I believe, and I'm checking my website, that if you go to CoachRenz.com, I may have put my spreadsheet. I created a spreadsheet, guys, that is based on the 70-10-10-10 plan. And I don't know if I know my credit repair letter, my first stage credit repair letter is on my website for free for you to get. But the I'm not sure if my 70-10-10-10 plan is, and right now my laptop is going really slow, so I'm stalling. But 70%, you got to get your necessities down to where they're just 70%, point blank period. All right, if you want to be successful financially, because what that means is that, what it also means, guys, is that let's say you lose your job and it's a 20% cut in pay. You don't become homeless, right? Because now you're just, you 20% means you're 80%, all right? You still got 80% of your money. You're not homeless anymore. You may have to get rid of some of these other ones, you know, but you're not homeless. You don't lose your car. You don't lose your transportation. You don't stop eating. So if you take a 20% pay cut, you're good. If you take a 30% pay cut, you're good. You're at 100%, but you at least don't lose your lifestyle. You don't go completely homeless, all right? Now you might have to start doing some other things so that you can get yourself back up there, but at least you're not homeless. That's why, you see how vital that can be? This is why, like, I want to buy another vehicle, right? But I refuse to go buy a vehicle right now. The type of vehicle I want, I'm not going to go buy, right? And to be honest with you guys, I'm getting a motorcycle, another motorcycle this summer, right? I had to sell my motorcycle some years and years ago when I was going through some stuff and my pay got cut. Well, when I lost the IT contract, one of the things that I sold, because it took 2 years and when the money started running out, I sold my motorcycle in 2008. Since then, the only motorcycle I've been riding is my brother's motorcycle, but I don't like borrowing his motorcycle. So I'm buying a motorcycle. Now, what I want an Indian Roadmaster is what I want. It's a $32,000 bike. I want that Indian Roadmaster, but that would take me out of my range. So I'm not going to get it. So instead, I'm gonna get the bike I was gonna get second. Next spring I was planning on getting the ZX14. So instead I just reversed it. I'm gonna get the ZX14 now, and then later I'll get the other one. Oh, you know what, guys? On my website, the only one I have, my credit repair letter. If you go to CoachRenz.com, you can download my credit repair letter. The instructions are, also look at the instructions on the side, on the left side, under life coaching, and download that credit repair letter. Another video I had, people still ask me for it there, but honestly, I don't have time to email it out to people all day, every day, like I was doing. So that credit repair letter is on my CoachRenz.com. So CoachRenz.com, and go there and you can get the credit repair letter. Matter of fact, let me go into this and type this. I think that's I'm gonna put a link here for where you can go, the exact link for the website. Oh, personal-life coaching. Okay. Because I want to make sure you guys get this. Oh shoot, it's separated. Good Lord. So I just put this link up. If you go there, in the left corner, left hand side, there's a document you can download, credit repair letter. You download that letter, that credit repair letter. Look at the instructions that I wrote on my page though, and it tells you what you need to do. And when you get the letter, you download it, and you need to change your information and all that sort of thing. Now, there's a lot more that you can do to repair your credit. If you got slow pays on there, you get rid of them. You got multiple addresses. There's changes that you make to this letter, or there's a different letter for that. If you got collection agencies on there, there's a different way that you handle collection agencies. But this is your first step. Get that letter, download it, change the information, challenge everything on your credit. It'll knock off at least 80% of if you got like 10 negative things on there that are collections and liens and all that, you can get about 80% of those things knocked off. So go to that link and download that letter. But I was talking about the 10-10-10, 70-10-10-10 plan. I actually created a spreadsheet for it. And you know what? I know it's not out there for free because I'm creating a private page, a membership page for on my Coach Ren's life coaching. That's all financial. And that document is going to be there because it took me a long time. It took a lot of time, energy and effort to create a spreadsheet version where you can just put all your budget in the spreadsheet, and then it has all the math created for it in order for you to be able to see where you are. And if you want to add something, you plug it in of what the payment is going to be, and it'll show you if you're in the 70-10-10-10 program. If you get married, you're dating someone, y'all get together, you can plug in all of their stuff, and you can see where you guys are in the 70-10-10-10 plan. And so you need to, something like that helps you to maintain that 70%. Because I've dated people where when I dated them and we start talking about finances and I plug their information in, all right, I go from 70% to 78% or 80%. And I know that, okay, if we're going to be together, this stuff has to change because we're not going to be over 70%. We ain't getting married if I'm 70% over. So I have to change those things. So your necessities can only be 70%. Now, the 10% is your investments. Now, remember in our 7 cures for a lean person, 5 laws of money, 10% investment. 10% is yours to keep. They must go into wise investments. Send them out to earn money and make money. So 10% of what you make goes into your investments, right? When I got to Germany and I was at 98%, once I got down to 90%, you know, I got rid of some bills, paid some things off. I was making some extra money on the side. Then I got down to 90%. Well, I took the 10%, and that 10%. Oh, and if you do charities, take your charities out of your 70%. Okay, but when I got down to 90%, I started a cleaning service in Germany, and I got me a couple of cleaning contracts in Germany, and that was my 10% that I invested. Now, here's the thing about that investment money. Like I said before, you got to rotate that money. The money you make, you reinvest it in your company. The money you make, reinvest it in your company. Now, when I was in Germany, I was here on the debt relief program, which we're going to get to in a minute. But you reinvest that money into that money, 10%, makes enough to cover all of this, and then you can quit your job, right? Because now you're making enough money that you can continue this program based on off the money that's been thrown off your investments. Number 10, the next one, 10% goes into long and short-term savings. So if you want to go on vacation, you want to buy a car, you want to get a down payment for a house, you want to, you know, go on a trip, you want to save for your children's education, 10% goes into there. Now, remember when we talked about that 10% that you keep? Remember, we want to set that up where we have a trust and we have an LLC, and the money goes into the LLC and it goes into the trust. Now, when you have the trust, if you're taking 10% of that and you're putting a portion of that into a savings, educational savings, you can set up an educational, you can say an educational IRA or educational trust fund or whatever for your kids. You can set up that in that as part of your trust in order for you to be able to protect it from outside influences and from being sued, because those things, they won't be able to collect from it. If you guys remember, O.J. Simpson's retirement couldn't be attacked by the Goldmans. If you guys remember that case, when he lost the civil suit, it's because he had that money set up in trust, okay? But the other aspect of it is, what is it? It's a, see, this is why I got notes, but my notes for that are actually in the car for, what was the educational one is called for your kids. But it's set up in this, is it in the car? Hold on for 1 second. Oops, I almost knocked stuff down. But you guys can still hear me. I'm just checking I think I might have it in this notebook. I got like notebooks all over the place. Because I want to tell you guys this is why I write down so many things. Yeah, okay, so it's an IRA. Yeah. So the educational money goes into an IRA for your kids, for education. But you can even do it for yourself, you know. So that is protected. Let me make sure I got it right. Yep. Yeah, but you want to put it in there. Yeah, see, I got notes on top of notes and notebooks. Like before I got ready for this thing, I had to pull out like 7 notebooks because I got information like all over the place. But it's not all over the place. Actually, everything is very well organized for me to know where everything is. But you guys want to put your money definitely into, you move your money into like an educational IRA for your kids. Oh, and then if you do, you set up an LLC. What you do is you put your kids on the payroll for your LLC, and you pay them up to $5,500, and you put that $5,500 into an educational IRA for your children. That way, there's no taxes on that money that you're putting away from them, and their money is a tax write-off. That $5,500 is an additional tax write-off to your LLC as well as your trust. But you're not paying any taxes on the money that's being stored over there, and it's used for educational purposes. Well, when you do use it for those education purposes, it's not taxed. It's still not taxed. So unless they change the rules in the next 20 years, that's what it's going to be for your kids. So you set that up. So we set all these things up for asset protection. This is one of the reasons why the rich are stayed rich, because they set themselves up to, like Rockefeller said, own nothing, control everything. This is how we do that. So we got 10% in your long-term savings and spendings for whatever you want to use it for. Then 10% is in your fun account, entertainment. See that? Entertainment. You know why? Because you got to have fun. You got to have fun. All you're doing is saving money and making money, saving money and making money, but you're not having fun. You're going to be miserable, and then your plan is going to fail. You have to have fun, right? You have to have money set aside for entertainment, right? Now, this is why originally it was like 80, 10, 10 of how I originally set it up. But then because in the 80 was the entertainment, some months I spent more than I needed to in entertainment. You know, especially during the summer with all the movies. When you start talking about movie, dinner, and all that kind of stuff, man, you can go more than 10% of your income real quick. And then I like going to festivals, and I like going out to dinner, and I like, you know, doing activity things. And so when you account for all that, you can go over 10% in your fund money. So I had to set up. So I realized that for most people in entertainment and people that I was coaching, they were going over it, you know, back then, because I've been coaching for a long time. But so I started saying, no, 10% goes over into your entertainment money. All right. And then I tell people, spend that 10% every month. And I don't care what it is. If your 10% is $100, you need to plan it. But you plan your fun. But it also makes you creative. You start saying, okay, if all I got is $200 a month for my entertainment, for my fun, or if I got $400 a month as a couple, or $400 a month period, and you're dating, $400 a month is not a lot when you're dating. So you become creative. You be like, look, we're going to get some sandwiches and go have a picnic down here at High Falls or something like that. Or, you know, you start getting creative on things. You're going to look at the what's going on in your city and be like, ooh, what they got? Oh, the High Museum, Thursday night, third Friday of the month. They got jazz and martini bar. Well, first we're going to get a little dinner before we go there, because the food there is a little more I want to pay. It's $11 a person to get in. We get in there for $11 a person. And you know what? We finna go have us a good time. You know, or just become a member so you can get it cheaper. And know that you're going to do that as a dating thing every month. Buy a membership. And you go every month. Once a month, you're going out to the High Museum. You have, you know, listen to some live jazz, walk around the museum, and have a little good time. But it's a way to do it. This weekend in Atlanta, there's MomoCon. There's the Jazz Festival in Piedmont Park. There's a Caribbean Festival that was today in Stone Mountain. There's so many things that you can say, hey, you know, you want to go to the Caribbean Festival with me? You know that all you're really going to pay for is a little food and maybe some parking. So there's a whole bunch of things. Reginald Williams said, that's why I missed the Dollar Movie Theater on Avondale. True, but how about this, Reginald? In Roswell. Oh, no, well, no, it's not. Yes, that's still, I don't know if that's Roswell. But anyway, there off Roswell Road in Johnson Ferry, there's a Dollar Movie Theater. It's the only one in Atlanta right now. It's like $1.75, right? So, yeah, you didn't see Black Panther when it came out brand new. But you can go there and they probably got it playing right now, you know? So you can go. There's still one to go to. Or you double feature it. You go to the drive-in. We got one drive-in here in Atlanta. You pay your money one time, you get a double feature. And I believe in the summertime they do 3 movies, right? So you pay your $8 to get in per person, and you go. Yeah, I know. And take your own snacks. You got to talk on right. Now, because I own Uncle Ren's popcorn, I just can't buy popcorn at the movie theater no more, because I'm a popcorn snob now. I just can't do it. I got to bring my own stuff, my own popcorn in there, because that's some nasty stuff they got in there, you know. But you become creative with that 10% entertainment. But it controls. Remember we said number 2 for lean purse, control your expenses. By separating your fund money, you can control the rest of your money better, right? Because then you won't overspend because you want to have fun. And you got to have fun. But like I said, you become creative. And some of those things is, hey, baby, let's go for a walk through or in and around downtown and just walk and talk. Right? Let's go climb Stone Mountain. Let's go climb Kennesaw Mountain. Let's go for a walk through this park. You start finding other things to do, right? And to make yourself have fun, and you get more creative. So that's why that's part of that. All right. So you got that one. Now, I know a lot of you guys thinking like, well, I got too much debt. Just ride MARTA. Yep. Ride MARTA all day for fun. Unless you like people watching some crazy people, sure. And forget you guys who are not in the Atlanta area, MARTA is our rail system, bus system. But hey, there was one of my brother's girlfriend's son's girlfriend came to visit him. That I needed to take her to the Megabus. She paid $25 to ride the Megabus from Atlanta to Jacksonville, Florida, one way. So if you're planning a trip and you're going to use some fun money, Megabus. You don't have to get a plane ticket. Megabus. Whatever you got to do. There's other ways of doing it. Now, I know a lot of you guys are saying that, hey, look, man, that all sounds fine and well, but I'm a long way from there. How do I get here? I'm going to show you how I got there. All right? I'm going to show you how I got it. This also comes from The Richest Man in Babylon. This story is told in I think twice, in two different stories. One is the camel trader, I believe. And the other story is about the English professor. So the camel trader and the English professor both express this here, the budget relief one. I've changed it a little bit from what they had. They didn't have one of these categories, but I forced the other category. So this is how you get out of debt, still have fun, still have a life, but yet you grow. All right. So let's say you're in debt, tremendous amount of debt. The way the story went for the camel trader and for the college professor, they were both in debt. One of them was a slave and he got himself free. In debt without a house, without a house, wife, and children. Would be nice to start a family soon. Yeah, and here's the thing, debt is not evil. Like I said, like Warren Buffett was saying, go get as much property as you possibly can right now. The dollar is lowering in value, so the amount you spend on the dollar now, the value is going to be so much lower later on. But the thing about it is, when you're in this situation, you're dead. You have debt. You want to get rid of it. The way the story went, sorry, got distracted for a second. The way the story went is they were in debt. One guy back in the ancient times, he went and thought he could run away, got caught up, got into slavery, then got out of slavery and went back home, and he had to pay off his debt. And one of the things he did was he set up a system to be able to live a life and pay his debt off. A lot of people didn't like it when he first started, but they got used to it because he actually paid them. The college professor went through the same thing because he was translating the story of Dabasir. He was translating Dabasir's story and then utilized it for himself. So this is how it goes. I know this is going to sound crazy, but the first thing is you have to get yourself down to about, you're going to be living off 65% of what you make, right? The reason why you're living off 65% of what you make is because you're going to take 20% of what you make and dedicate that towards paying your debt, all right? 20% of what you make, dedicate towards paying your debt. Now, let's say you're at 80%. If you took the 20%, you need the 80% to live, then take the 80%. That's fine. But as you start paying off your debt, when money starts to be left over, you need to quickly be able to take 10% and put that into your investments. You have to be able to get to 10% in your investments, all right? And I'm going to go ahead and tell you the whole thing. And 5% is now for your entertainment. How do you get there? Let's say you're at a point where 80% of what your money is needed to spend for living your lifestyle. Start reducing your lifestyle as much as you possibly can. Then take that 20%, put that towards your debt. If it's 15%, put that towards your debt. If it's 10%, put that towards your debt. But you got to start putting this towards your debt, right? And as you get that debt paid off, you need to get it down to 20%. Now, what you do is you call everybody that you owe money to, and you say, hey, look, here's the deal. I'm taking 20% of all the money I earn. I'm dividing it up between all the people that I owe money to. This is how much I'm going to pay you every month. Every month, this is all I can pay you. Some people are going to cuss you out. Some people aren't. Some people are going to tell you that you got to pay more. Just tell them, this is all I can pay you. You know, I did this. You guys may not remember back in the day when we had calling cards. One of my bills was a calling card. AT&T. $1,200. I was only making that much a year anyway. But at first, we told AT&T we can pay them the $100 a month that they wanted, right? No, it wasn't even a month. It was like $100 every other week that they wanted. So it was like $200 a month. And the first thing I told them, sure, yeah, we got to pay it, because I was young and stupid and scared, because they made all these threats. But then by the time I got to Germany, I was paying this bill like that. My gunnery sergeant was like, why are you paying this bill like that? And he handed me The Richest Man in Babylon. And I was like, I read it, and he was like, explain now. Take that 20%, divide it up. You call AT&T back and say, hey, I know that I originally said this, but this is what I can pay you. And it was like, I think it was $50 a month or something like that. They was mad, they was pissy and all that, but every month I just sent them the 50%. All right? I sent them the 50%. I mean the $50, sorry. I sent them the $50. And then for everybody else, for the student loan, I sent them their portion. For the credit card, the Sears card, sent them their portion. My kid's mom, her Visa card, I sent them their portion. And what else? The car note, no, I wasn't behind in the car note because we didn't take a car. But everybody that I owed money to, I can't remember who else we owed money to at the time, but I paid them the portion that I could pay them. That was based off that 20%. AT&T was pissed. They kept calling me every month. You can't just pay 50. You have to pay more. I sent them 50. Next month, you can't pay 50. You have to pay more. Send them 50. Next month, you can't. Send them 50. Then all of a sudden, after about 4 or 5 months, they stopped calling. They got the 50. All right? And they was all right with that. They shut up because they got it consistently. So if it's a human that you owe the money to, a person that you know that you owe money to, hey, this is all I can give you. This is all I can send you. They may be mad. They may tell you got to pay them more. But if they see that you're paying them on time every month, they'll start leaving you alone, right? They'll start bothering you. And when they see you do this, it took me 18 months. And the reason why, now originally that plan would have taken me like 2.5 years to pay everybody back. But because when I got that 10% that I can invest, I started investing that 10%. And that's when I told you guys I started the janitorial company. I started investing that 10%. And with that 10%, so I misspoke earlier when I said I got 10% when I was at 90 and got down to 10. It was actually after I got past that 80% and I was able to start doing the 10%. And I started investing that 10%, right? And that 10% I started the cleaning service. And the money I made from the cleaning service, what I first did was send that money over to help service the debt, right? And I was servicing that debt, that 20% of debt. And I kept doing that. And then that paid it off. Now, a different way you guys can do it is that wherever you are, you can have your 70%. If you're at 90%, take your 10% and do like I misspoke, because I didn't do that when I was in Germany. I should have done it this way. Before I started servicing the 20%, I should have kept the debt into my 90%. Take the 10%, invest that, and start making money. Use that money that I make, and then start servicing the 20%. Start servicing the debt until I was able to get it down to 5, get my necessities down to 65, and then keep moving in that fashion. That's what I should have done, but I didn't. But the next time I found myself in that type of situation, I changed it around. Did you have a bank account in Germany? Yes, I had a German bank account and I had an American bank account because I made money and I had to set up my company as a German company. And when I set it up as a German company, I had to have a German bank account, right? And I had to go through all this foreign national stuff and military stuff to set it all up. It was a pain in the butt, but I did what was necessary. So, but you want to be able to get to a point where you're investing money to make money. You're servicing your debt with 20% of how much money is coming in total from your investment and the money that you just generally make. And then you got your 5% going right there. Okay? So, and then your 5% for your entertainment. Because even through this time frame, you still need to have a little bit of fun. You got to have some level of fun, right? So you got to make sure of that. Let me ask you guys a question. Do you hear music? Because if you hear music, let me know. I don't know if I can tell them to turn it down. But you gotta. But that's how you get out of your debt, guys. You gotta take 20%, however you can get it, how you can situate yourself, and just use that to pay it. But then get a 10% that you can invest, and you'll be able to get out of debt. And then once your debt is gone or low enough, you can go here. But understand the world we're in now. Some of the debt you need to get is debt to invest, okay? It's debt to invest. Around September, okay, so after I buy this tax lien, I will go and get and my store has been open for a few months here in South DeKalb Mall. I will go and get another loan to go open another store. so that by November, I'm opening up a second store. And I'm going to actually try to make sure that that loan is big enough to open that store. And then with the money that's being made from the Decatur store, that after the holidays, I can open up another store, right? So going into debt now is not a bad thing, but I'm going into debt only for things that's going to make me money. I would, for now. The reason why I'm getting a motorcycle is because I'm going to use that as my primary source of transportation, right? Because what I'm looking at is lower insurance, lower gas. That's what I'm looking at. So that's the purpose. It's not just because I want one again. I mean, I do, but it also has a purpose that's going to serve me, because I have another car that I can use for the car days I need cars that doesn't have any debt to it. But but I'm getting that for, because right now I'm spending like damn near $500 in gas every month. It's too much. It's too much. By putting it switching to a motorcycle, my gas is gonna drop to like $200 a month. Which if I have which my motorcycle payment is gonna be like $120 a month. So I'm still saving money. You see what I'm saying? And those couple of $100 will make a difference in your life. They make a difference, because those couple of $100 lead to you being able to invest more money into other things to make more money, right? So that you can have that constant flow of cash, right? And it's these small things, guys. It's these small things. Like, I don't have cable. We don't have cable. We got Hulu and Netflix. That's it. Hulu and Netflix. All you need, right? So you're spending, like, instead of spending, $50, $60, $80 on cable, no. $10 on Netflix, $11 on Hulu, $21. I think that's what it is. $21. That's it. Right? Instead of spending like $80 on some dang on cable. Man, please. I don't need that. All I need is Wi-Fi. Give me some Wi-Fi and I'm good. Wi-Fi. And so instead of having cable and Wi-Fi, just the Wi-Fi. Hulu, Netflix, got a smart TV, so you can go right from your phone onto the TV and see it on the screen. Yeah, I don't get, and you get you get to put an antenna on there, and then you can catch regular channels that are free channels, Air TV channels. So there are ways that you can do this thing, right? There are ways you can save money, and all those little simple things. Buying your food in bulk, I know some, even though, which is so sad, it is cheaper. It is about the same price point or cheaper to go eat McDonald's and Wendy's and Burger King every day, right? It's just not healthy for you. It's just severely unhealthy. So go to your farmers markets and get your fruits and vegetables from farmers market. Buy things in bulk, but then eat it at home. Don't let stuff go to waste. Don't let food go to waste. A friend of mine, I fuss at her all the time, and I hope she was watching, but she's not. I know she's not. But I hope she was, because she would go to the farmers market. She's one person, but then she wouldn't eat the stuff fast enough, and she would throw away like half the stuff that she was buying. And I was like, you really, really have to change this, because the amount of money you're throwing away, that it's actually cheaper for you to go to the grocery store to buy your fruits and vegetables. Now, if you got a house with wife and kids, man, go to that farmer's market. Should you pay your debt first or invest? Seems like investing first would be the way to get. And that's the thing that I said it kind of crazy messed up. Let me see, I can read it better. It's a better way to make money rather than spending it. It is better. So let's say you look at all your bills, right? You're sending your money, and you're paying your bills. You got a lot of debt, but you're paying it. But you want to get paid off fast, or you maybe even robbing Peter to pay Paul. Reduce your standard of living to the point where you at least got 10% of your income. Invest your money first. That's why I put this way. You invest your money first. I probably put a 90% up here. I really only put this part up here, guys, because I knew that I was going to be teaching. So that's why I put this part up here, because I'm not in this situation right now. I'm here, but you put it across here. So I should have put a 90 here and 10. I should have put a 90, 10, and then break it down for teaching. If I was when I teach this in a seminar class, it'll be done differently. But yes, so take your 100%, break it down the way you can invest 10%. You got to invest that 10%. Invest the 10% first. Invest it, but you got to invest into something that's going to make you money. So I was talking to my son about a week or so ago. He he's going to be a senior in high school. He lives with his mom, They live out in an area called Dallas, Georgia. For the guys who are not familiar with this, ain't nothing out there in Dallas, Georgia. It's not a lot. He wants to get a job. He wants to work. All right, because like I said, my kids have to learn how to earn. He, we was talking about it, and he was telling me how down in the closest area to him, it's just there's tons of teenagers, and there's not a lot of jobs, and a lot of grown folks have the jobs the teenagers have. So it's hard for him to find a job. And I said, well, son, here's the deal. I just sent you some starter money. And what you need to do, take that starter money. Now, you guys can do this too. Take that, and I already said it earlier. Take this starter money. Go find something you can sell. Go to Alibaba, find something that you can order and sell. Go to the rich part of towns. Go to the estate sales. Find something you can turn and flip. I was at an estate sale a little while ago, and I met a guy there. He's retired from his job, from the job he had, but his pension and Social Security is just not enough money. So he makes an extra $3,000 a month going to estate sales and buying things that he can turn and flip. I'm talking vacuum cleaners, paintings, candle holders, dishes, furniture, jewelry. It doesn't matter. If he finds something that he know he can sell, and some things he can clean up and sell, like clean it up and sell, he goes to estate sales. And he's been doing it, and he's working it, and he works all the angles: Craigslist, Facebook, all those kind of things. And he just turned out, how do you find, just type in Google estate sales in your area, or estate sales in Alpharetta. Since you're in Georgia, type in estate sales in Alpharetta, and I guarantee you missed a whole bunch of them. Then there's a website that lists the estate sales, because they conduct this. There's a company that conducts estate sales for people. But type in your area or the wealthy area in your town, and type in estate sales in that city, and they'll pop up. And then you flip that stuff on eBay, Craigslist, Posh, if you can get on Posh. Well, you can get on Posh. What's the other one? Mercari or something like that. I don't like those two sites though, Posh and Mercari. I don't really like them personally. But Craigslist, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, keep selling. Especially if you got something, if you're doing a vehicle or furnishings or appliances on Facebook Marketplace, those things sell well. Blue jeans and tennis shoes. Blue jeans and shoes sell very well on eBay, Craigslist, and Facebook Marketplace. Those things sell very well. You can do that. If you have access, get yourself a business license where you sell retail stuff, whether online. Go to if you have an apparel mart in your town, go to the apparel mart. You can you can get cash and carry items that you can then go out and sell. You pay $10 for it, you sell it for $20. But you have to do whatever you got to do. Definiteness of purpose, definiteness of plan, definiteness of action. You have to go out and do the work. This is the thing that people, when I talked about, where is it? Putting your money to impossible gains, getting wise counsel, those kinds of ideas, those kind of thought process, you have to be willing to do the work, guys. You have to be willing to go out there and work it. You have to be able to put forth the energy. It's not going to come easy, right? Anybody who says that they became wealthy and it was easy is lying. Anybody who tells you that you can make money just work part-time, just a couple of hours a day, they full of shit. They lying to you. All right? You got to put in effort. You think setting up the system for Uncle Ren's Popcorn. I had to work every day, 7 days a week for years. Okay? For years, 7 days a week. When I first started the company, I worked 7 days a week for the first year. After that, I was in a good location, hire some people. I could start taking a few days off. But those days off was still, wasn't really off. I was just working from home, right? But I had to put in the effort. Then when my lease got bought out by a bigger company and I had to go find another space, the space wasn't that great. I was back to working 7 days a week. After a year, I was able to bring in some help so I could take some time off. And that time off was really me going out and getting corporate sales and getting fundraisers. And then I did that for 3 years. And then I got tired of that. I don't want it. It can't be that way continuously, which is why I moved the store from Alpharetta to where it's going now. Because now I need to be in a location where I know that I can build my system and work my system, and it has the population. I've learned. I've probably have lost over $400,000 in unearned revenue because of some of the emotional decisions I made trying to please other people. Now that those people are out of my life, if you can see up top, one of the things up there is your top 5 people, your top 5 people in your life. You have to recognize who those top 5 people are, because they will drag you. They will drag you up, or they're going to either raise you up or drag you down, right? So, uh, hold on for a minute. You guys hear that background stuff? I don't know if you can, but there's people outside my door. Hold on, just a second. Turn that down, please. Children. So, the thing about it is, I had to do those things. I had to go out and you know, I created a system. The system is easy to be followed, but I had to go. All these mistakes I've learned, I've put them on my checklist, and now it's like, where I'm moving my store is the place that I originally wanted to put my store in the very first beginning, before making an emotional based decision. And it's totally my fault for making an emotional based decision. And you know, so you can't make, so these decisions that you're going to make in your life can't be emotionally based, right? They have to be based on good intellectual decisions plus your gut. I don't know if you guys saw a video that I did like maybe 6 months ago or so, but I talked about your brain, your heart brain, and your gut brain, right? You got synaptics in each one of those areas, right? When you listen to your mental brain, you can reason yourself out of the logical thing you should do. If you listen to your heart brain, you can emotionalize yourself into the wrong decision. But that gut brain, the one in your stomach, it has no emotions, nor does it have reasoning. It just knows. That's why people say all the time, man, my gut told me to do such and such, and you didn't do it. You allowed your rational brain or your emotional brain to change your gut brain, and then you made a bad decision. Where I'm going now is based on my gut brain, right? My gut brain, backed up by my logical brain, says this is a good location. And that's why the mall itself is estimating that I'm going to do they're estimating I'm going to do around 400K a year, right? Which, I know me, I'll do 400K inside, but outside I'll do another 100 to 200K outside the mall, which will generate the income that I need for that I want for my lifestyle, for my current, but it'll also generate the income necessary to grow my company. And that's what, you know, you have to like that. So you have to be willing to go out and do the hard work and put it down. Okay, so let's do a little Q&A. We're going to be on for maybe another 20-30 minutes, or however long you guys have questions. But if you guys have any questions about any of this information, I know that's a lot, but that's what you have to do. That's how you become wealthy, and that's how you maintain it. Then you have to teach this to your kids. Like I said, my kids, they had jars. They had a jar for their NEC. They had a jar for their investment, jar for their long-term savings. Actually, I had them at 60 for NECs, 10% for investments. Then they had 10% for long-term savings and 10% for short-term savings, and then 10% for fun. So actually, once you start having enough income and you can start dropping your NEC, you can drop this all the way down to 50. And then Jim Rohn, when he became wealthy, he had this dropped all the way down to 10%. And everything else, he had other categories. So it develops. But for right now, let's just try to get here. Okay? But I had that for my kids. So Miss Rose said, my daughter has a daycare that they started the first of the year. It would be, what would be the time you think they would start having a profit, or all businesses different in profit? Most businesses are going to be different in profit. I would probably need to know a lot more detail about her daycare in order to give her a true estimate of that. Now, the general consensus is that the company's not going to be profitable for 5 years. That doesn't mean that they're not paying themselves an income. They could be. The first thing I would have to ask you is, how are they set up corporately? Because they need to make sure that they're not set up to be exposed for lawsuits, but also be able to take the best tax deductions as possible and pay the least amount of taxes, because if they're expending too much money in taxes, that's taken away from their ability to be profitable and grow. Is this a daycare they start in their house, or is it a location daycare center? So how much? Because if it's in their house, then they're limited on the number of people that they can have. If it's outside, then of course the number of people they can have is a lot more, but of course they have a lot more expenses as well. Um, it depends on the area, the location, how easy is it for the people to get in and out, what's the amount of money people make there, are they charging a fair market rate, um, is there some areas where they can cut costs? So there's a lot more to it. They could be profitable in a year, but it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years. It really depends. So I would kind of need more information on that, but I'm gonna say in general about 5 years. But if they have good economics and are not trying to spend all the money on, a lot of people start a business and then the first thing, every time they get profit, they're giving themselves a raise and they're paying themselves, all the profit, and they're not recognizing that they set themselves up as a W-2 employee, pay themselves a certain salary, and then be able to move money into actual profit, and then take 70% of that profit to be used towards expansion and growth. So, uh, so I would also need to know what their plan is for growth, and then, or if they don't want to grow, they don't want to have another daycare center, then there are other ways they can take that profit and defer it into solo 401ks or self-directed 401ks, and also put it into other vehicles that can earn them money without them having to operate another business. So I need more information on their situation. But I hope that helped you a little bit. Well, it should help you. If you break it down, what I'm saying, actually they can get themselves in a good position. Um, let's see, Shondell, it's a lot, but I'm guessing it's not for a one time, but multiple times. It is. You got to view this over and over again, but also read the book, Richest Man in Babylon. Read it, read it, read it. But you just have to be able to convert that information into today's world. That was the most difficult thing for me to do back in '93, because I'm reading it and I'm reading an ancient book, but then I had to revert it over. What do you recommend, banks or credit union? Is what Reginald said. Both. Short answer, both. You have to, they both have their benefits, but you have to create relationships with both. With the banks, you need two different kinds of banks. You need a relationship with a big bank, and you need a relationship with a small local bank where you can go in and everybody know you. But where the loans are, decisions are made right there. Credit unions, they're more apt to give you loans, and they have good financial programs. So credit union is a good place to park some money as well. So both. So you may have your NEC may be in a big bank. Your investment money may be in a small. I'll put my investment money into a small bank, and then I would do my short-term savings, long-term savings, and my fund money in a credit union. Now, I'm working with, right now I have just two banks. I got to find me another local bank that I like. Because the local bank that I did have, they relocated. Shondell asks, what is the cost of your coaching sessions? It depends on what type of coaching that you want, right? Like, let's say if we were just doing, what I'm looking to do now, the way I'm doing it right now, is that you're either doing life coaching or you're doing business coaching, one of the two. If you're doing life coaching, it's $250 monthly retainer fee, and you just pay your retainer. We're gonna have one session a month, but you're gonna have a whole lot of work to do, and turning in some stuff to me. And that life coaching is going to incorporate multiple programs. Is my 1111 Path to Greatness, Financially on Fire, which is your finances and your credit, chakras and meditation, so work with your spirituality as well as work with relationships and things like that. I don't know if you saw my recent video where I talked about the 5 states of being, which is your relationship, getting your relationship right. And that's just not with that's with yourself and everybody around you and everybody you deal with, but also working on your spirituality, whatever it is, don't care what it is, gonna just get you there. You missed that one. Yeah, I know, I was lax on videos last week because of that car accident, and that just threw my week off. And I just spent a lot of time meditating after that. And then you make me mess up. So relationships, spirituality, your health, yeah, your health, and it's just a monthly return. You can stop anytime you want to. You keep making me mess up stuff. This is why I take notes. I know the other one is your power. You got to exude your power, utilize the power that you have within yourself. But money, relationships, money. I didn't talk about so much stuff. I can't remember nothing. Your money, your relationship, your spirituality, your health, and your power. Thank you. So we work on those 5 things. Now, if it's business coaching, business coaching is $500 a month on a retainer. But business coaching involves some of those things that we just talked about, those things we just talked about, but it also involves you becoming a leader, because you can't run a business if you don't have good leadership. How to start, starting a business and incubating and masterminding your business, my Crystal Clear marketing program. So those are also included included with the lifestyle stuff. You get those included, and in the business coaching, there's a lot more homework and things to do, because you're gonna write a business plan, but then you're gonna understand a business treatment. And then we're gonna work through your business and see how to make your business better and make it greater based on whatever your goal is for your business. Because it's not my business, it's yours. So I don't want to impart what I would do onto you. It's got to work for you. Miss Rose said, which I think Rose, I forgot who, no name Rose. I think I asked if you were a guy, girl once before, so I don't want to miss it. So Rose just said, okay, thank you, Coach. It helps a lot. Yeah, great. I appreciate you reposting it. But let them know. And if they want to get involved in my business coaching, I'm going to tell you it's worth it. Business coaching is one of the best things that I ever did when I first got into business. When I started that cleaning service, I didn't have a coach. I was just winging it, but I had access because I wrote contracts for the military at the time. So I used my influence. I used my power to get those contracts. Then, but when I was in Florida and I did a couple of businesses without a coach, I almost lost my house. I almost lost the cars. I had to file bankruptcy. I had screwed up royally, right? It wasn't until my the fourth business that I actually said, you know what, I'm not doing this again. I need a coach. And I went out and got a coach, right? So, and one of those, that third one, if I had a coach for my third business, so the first one was a janitorial service. The second one was a planning firm where I did corporate planning events. And then the third one was a kiosk, just a simple kiosk in a mall in Rome, Georgia. I had 3 kiosks in the mall, and I was putting $8,000 a month in my pocket. And we talking about in 1999, I'm putting $8,000 in my pocket every month, right? And that was net receipts. I mean, net profit. If I had a coach, the emotional decision I made then, I would have never made. And there's a couple of, if you guys were familiar with Atlanta, Arbor Square Mall was new in that time frame, and I had the ability to put however many kiosks I wanted in that mall. I would have been the first one to put however many and whatever kiosks I wanted. If I had a coach at the time who would have been telling me, stop putting all the whole $8,000 in your pocket, you got to reinvest. And when that opportunity came, even though I had enough money to put 4 kiosks in there, I could have walked into that mall and had like 12, 15 kiosks, and I would pretty much run every kiosk in that mall, right, for the different variations of products. And I'm talking about 1999 to year 2000, I'd have been in that position. Come on, man. Where would I be now 18 years later if I had a coach that had schooled me back then? So it wasn't until 2005 when I got a coach for my fitness company that I actually learned how to started developing business and that sort of thing. And I had started coaching people before I had a coach. Well, I had a coach in business. I had life coaches, but before I had a business coach. So crazy, right? Let's see. Reginald said, what would stop you from getting a loan other than your credit? Other than your credit, your debt to income ratio. How much, like let's say you want a $10,000 loan, but your debt to income ratio, and then when they say debt to income ratio, this is not your water bill, light bill, mortgage. Well, it could be, it'll be your mortgage, but depending upon the loan, they're not going to take you, if your debt to income, let's say your debt to income ratio is 40%. If you want a loan for a house, they're not going to give you one because they're not going to take you over 40%. But if you want a car, they're not going to take you over 60%. So depending upon the loan what type of loan, you have a different debt to income ratio. So that could throw you off. Your payment history could get you denied for a loan. And then if you have recent bankruptcies or tax liens, that could deny you from getting a loan as well. Shondell, seems like life should come before business. Oh, life coaching? Well, that's the thing. The business coaching includes life coaching. So that's why it's twice as much. It includes life coaching as well. President said, I thought you were a PE teacher at an elementary school. That's why I thought they called you. No, 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 no. I wasn't. I wasn't. Here's the thing. This is where the coach came from. The fact that when I shut down my, when I shut down the business, the kiosk in Rome, Georgia, and I went back down to Florida. And when I started IT school after a couple of months of not being able to figure out what I wanted to do. I started IT school back then, and what happened was a lot of the guys I was in IT school with, this was like adult kind of IT school. It was like a quick, fast, and hurry, get your associate's degree, but get your certifications as well. And, in 2 years kind of program. Well, you get your certification in the first year, and then get your associate's degree the second year. So it was a fast program, and I got my certification in the first. I got fully certified in Microsoft Systems Engineer within like 4 months, and there was a couple of guys who was doing that with me, and but then at first I did their taxes. They saw me get all this money back on my taxes, and they was like, how did you do that? So I started doing their taxes, and then I started giving them financial coaching as far as taxation is concerned. And they were all younger than me too, so I started giving them life coaching on their marriage and that sort of thing. And I used to do marital counseling for the people in my unit, because I always had the oldest marriage when I was in the military. And so they started calling me coach because I was coaching them. And that's where the whole coach came from. And then as I've grown and kept coaching people and actually did it as a legitimate business, it just stuck with coach. Then it was cracking me up, because even when I was a personal trainer, I said I wasn't like fitness trainer Renz, or I told my clients knew that they were going to get life coached in their personal training. So I was always saying, like, I'm a life and fitness coach. Because I didn't want them to be with me forever. They had to learn how to do this on their own, so I would coach them in how to do it on their own. Reginald said, I wouldn't dare take a loan for a car. There's nothing wrong with taking a loan for a car. It depends on if you're building your credit. Having a revolving line of credit, well, that's not a revolving line of credit, but having a payment, a car loan is actually one of the forms of mixture. You need to have credit loan. You need to have credit cards, a car loan, or a house mortgage, and then a personal loan. You need a good mixture that raises your credit score. So it's not a bad thing to have one. Just you can't let it increase your debt though. You can't go past that right there, that 70%. So don't look at it as a bad thing. Debt is not horrible, and then it depends on what you're doing with it. I just coached a guy he got a car loan so that he can do Uber and make more money. So that car loan is being paid for through his Ubering, and he drives Uber like 6-7 hours a day, while his other business is functioning, because we got his other business into working as a system. We systemize his business. Reginald also said, do you recommend getting a loan or just toughing it out and come up with no, in today's world right now, with the value of the dollar, get a loan. Build your credit. Your credit can't build without having a loan, and your credit is more valuable than cash, right? And now part of that depends upon what your plan is. What's your plan? Do you have a 10-year or 20-year plan? If you don't, then you need to get a 10 or 20-year plan for your life. Otherwise, you could take out a loan, but then you decide you want to do a certain thing and it hurts you. Or if you want to do something in a year, 2 years, 3 years, you may need to get some loan credit going to establish yourself to be able to get that. So it depends on what you're doing. So I would probably need to know more. No name said, are your classes online? We're in Southern California. The classes I'm creating for my private site, they'll just be on my private site online. I do coach people in California, so we just adjust to the time frame. But they're going to be video. I'm recording videos right now to put on a private page, and once I get enough of them situated, because there'll be an ongoing, continuous learning, then I'll announce it, and people can pay a monthly fee to be on there. But those are for classes. As far as coaching, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. Shondell said, I think I'd rather focus on one aspect and get lined up. And that's fine. You got to do, Shondell, what's comfortable and what's good for you. Don't worry, and how you feel. And then if you want to switch gears at some point, whenever you want to switch gears, it's fine as well. Sometimes through life coaching, you realize what you want to do as far as business is concerned. You know, or if you ever want to do business coaching, you may not. Just in life coaching, just understand it. My program, Financially on Fire, we talk about investing in other things and other people, you know, and just how you look at those things. No one wants to get stuck with a loan they can't pay back. No, you right. You don't want to get a loan that you can't pay back. You want to avoid any type of loan that you can't pay back. That's why it depends on the type of loan. So even though I want people to go out and buy popcorn from Uncle Ren's Popcorn in droves right now, because I'm getting ready to open the store and there's a few things I got to take care of. I've had some repairs that I wasn't expected to go, so I want some extra money. But let's say if I went to go get a loan for it, I could comfortably go and tell somebody, hey, can I get I need a $3,000 loan and I'll pay it back in 60 days, right? Because I know that I can. I know that once I open the store, I can pay it back in 60 days. But when I go get a business loan, I'm going to get a loan to make more money. You know, it's going to make me more money. Now, what I would go get and if the only reason I haven't bought a motorcycle yet is because I want my store open first before I go buy one, because I want to make sure I can cover the loan easily. I don't want to have any struggles or difficulties. I want to cover it easily. And it has to fit in here, in my 70%. So no, don't go get one you can't pay back. If you can't pay it back, don't go get a car loan yet. You know, you're going to just have to tough it out in whatever you have to do. So now I'm thinking about podcasting and starting a personal athletic facility for youth. Okay. Podcasting is actually a good way to increase revenue, to bring in revenue, because you get advertisers and things like that and sponsorship. Things like YouTube is kind of hard. I mean, if people were donating on here, like that helps. YouTube is starting a sponsorship button. There's Patreon, things like that. That can help. Podcasts, you can bring on advertisers so you can make more money if you build your audience. But in everything, you got to build your audience. And a facility place for youth, that's good. I know that that's something that you're interested in with developing youth and athletes. I think football is your sport that you're wanting to coach in. But training kids in those sports, especially I believe the state that you're in is really big on football. So there's probably enough people there. That's a good business to get involved in. You know, the parents want parents think that they got the best kid in the world who's going to make it to the pros or make it into college. And they're looking for every advantage because it takes those small things, guys. That's why coaching in every aspect is vital. Whether it's through life coaching, fitness coaching. Michael Jordan doesn't get 6 rings without great coaching. Kobe don't get it without coaching. I hope the Warriors lose. I think they're playing tonight. But look at all the talent on the Warriors. But they are 3-2. They're in 3-2 right now. Right? For the Western Conference Finals. And the Rockets are getting there. Coaching. Talent is amazing. But how much talent is wasted out there? Coaching is vital. So you open up a facility to coach these kids is great. It's 84-77. The game's not over, I guess. So, it ain't over till it's over. I think Chris Paul got hurt and he's not playing tonight. But it ain't over till it's over. I mean, I thought the Celtics was about ready to sweep through Cleveland, but now it's 3-3 going into Game 7. But coaching is so vital that, here's the thing about coaching that people don't understand. It's not about the coach can do the work. It's about, LeBron ain't won nothing without coaching. I don't care. You can say that all you want to. LeBron ain't won nothing without coaching. It doesn't happen that way. Because here's the thing. If that was the case, he would win championships every year. Right? But he's not. Even though LeBron still gets coaching, the other guys on the team have to have coaching for themselves. You got to be able to bring these guys out of their slumps. You got to be able to manage the game. That's what I was just about to say. One of the biggest things about a coach is managing the games. When do you call a timeout? Strategically, you have to be able to call a timeout. Who do you sub in and out? What mixes work best, right? Hey, say what you want, but a great coach knows how to manage the game and manage the temperament of his players, right? Temperament of the players, manage the game. How to put them in the best situation to succeed. Putting people in the game, out of the game. Coach is still calling the plays. Who's calling the plays? Coach is still calling the plays. You ain't got to have the greatest coach. Everybody's looking for Phil Jackson. You ain't got it. Depending upon the talent you got, you ain't got to be Phil Jackson. You just got to be decent. Look at when what was the team? The Baltimore Ravens. They had Trent Dilfer. Yeah, they had an amazing defense. All they needed, they didn't need a quarterback that was great. They just needed a quarterback who could manage the game. That's it. That's all Trent Dilfer had to do, was just be competent enough to manage the game and let his defense do the work. That's all a good coach needs. You need to be able to manage the person. If you can manage the person, you're good. Now, if you're a better coach, of course, you're going to be able to do better. Shondell said, I always tell my friends that I may not be the best coach, I know, but I care about the kids and I study my craft to put them in the best possible position to succeed. Exactly. That's all you got to do. Reggie said, I win the popcorn and I didn't have a coach. I'll pick it up at the lecture on the 16th. If you don't, did you send me the 10 flavors you want? If you didn't send me the 10 flavors, you won't be picking up nothing. You better send me them 10 flavors so I can know what to bring. And also put in your description that you want it then, that you'll pick it up then, so I'll remember. All right, and I'll put it on my calendar when I flip it over to June. I'll put it on my calendar, because otherwise I'll forget. Because that's why I write stuff down, so I won't forget. But yeah, I mean, everybody. Look, I'm telling you, the best thing you can ever do is get a coach for stuff. That's one of the best things. Because that's investing in yourself. You're not investing in the coach. You're investing in yourself, right? But look at LeBron. He has fitness coaches that work with him. Have you ever watched? If you pay attention to him, he's meditating on the sideline. There's a certain meditation that you can do to really, unless you know about meditating, you don't really pay attention. Man, I got 25 flavors, so go to the website and look at the flavors. But LeBron is always meditating on the sidelines, especially when he gets into like a little slump or a little groove or something like that. So a lot of timeouts, I've noticed that he's meditating on the sideline. He didn't just start doing that on. He had a coach do it. The Chicago Bulls, when Michael Jordan came back, they brought in a meditation coach to help Michael Jordan get himself into that state when he came back from when he went to play baseball. When he came back, he started working with a meditation coach. Beyond Tyronn Lue and Spoelstra, there are other coaches that are in play. Okay? So that's why that's important. And I'd rather invest in someone who knows more than I do to make up for lost time. Exactly. That. Let me tell you, I will admit that as far as a business coach, when I started the popcorn shop, the business coach, I could have used one, but I would have, and I had a business coach actually, but he was purely business coach, just types of location, because this was my first foray into the food industry. So I knew I needed somebody who can help me with food industry. And good coach as far as the food industry is concerned, systems, profit margins, understanding the business, people's mentality, all that sort of thing. Great. What I needed, though, because I didn't have my life coach at the time, what I needed was that life coach who was saying, hey, you're making an emotional decision. Your decision of location is based off your emotions. It's not based off your gut or reasoning. It's based off your emotions. You got to take that heart brain out. I could have used that. If I had used that, and then, or even a leadership coach at the time, or who would have reinforced the leadership training that I already knew, but a leadership coach who could have reinforced that to me at the time, I would have made a more strategic decision, not based on emotion. I would have picked the location that I'm going into now. Uncle Ren's Popcorn would already be a multi-million-dollar company in multiple cities right now, because this would have started in 2012. So here it is 6 years later. I would be in multiple cities doing all kind of stuff. But I made an emotional decision in 2012. And that emotional decision had its repercussions. You guys can't really see it, but oh yes you can. Right here is my 7 Hermetic laws, right? And one of those laws over here is the law of cause and effect. The thing about the law of cause and effect is that it can send you far down to the left of the polarity scale. It takes a lot of vibration to get you back up that scale so that the law of rhythm swings you back to the side, to the far right side of success. But because I made an emotional call, I had an emotional cause for my decision, the effect threw me way off to the left, and now I've been making my way to the right. You don't just get a big swing all the way back. It takes time to get that vibration. When you initiate the vibration, it takes time for that vibration to get you back to the right side. So it's taking some time for me to get out of the hole, out of the place that the hole I dug for myself, to get me to the side that I need to be, to get me moving in the right direction. Now, the thing about it, once I get to the side, then there's the law of polarization well, that's actually under the law of rhythm, the law of polarization, to keep me, you know, from big swings and just have small swings, right? So that when I go to other cities or I go to other locations, I'm going through my checklist. Does it fit my checklist? It does. Hey, Brick, you are real late. It fits my checklist. And because it fits my checklist, then I say, okay, this is a good location. But you get there. And then some things, you can have all, you know, your checklists are great. They minimize your swings. But the thing about it is once you get in there, once you start doing it, that's when you truly start seeing what your results are. And as you see your results, you make adjustments. And so, but if I had a coach that was helping without my, King, if my emotional coach was working with me, if I had a coach who was recognizing the emotional state that I was in, and recognized that I was making emotional based decisions and not gut and brain decisions, gut and reason decisions, then I would have avoided a lot of my mistakes. So you're absolutely right. You can make up for a lot of lost time, and that's why I say I estimate that I missed out on, you know, what, over $400,000 in revenue, at least, at minimum, $400,000 in revenue lost, simply because, and that's a balance based on what I did make over those 4 years. Because see, the first 2 years was great, but over those 4 years, what I should have made compared to that second year, the growth that I was experiencing, if what I should have made compared to what I actually made because I made an emotional decision, then that's where the 400,000 comes from. And without making this decision that I'm making, that I made 6 months ago, well, actually I made it 7 months ago. It just took another month for it to actually start happening. But the decision I made 7 months ago to move the store actually puts me in a position so that I can stop the bleeding of that decision I made 4 years ago, because it took a while to get out of those leases in order to get into a better lease, so that now that I can start making far and above that money. Now what's going to hurt my emotions is that when I see what I do the second year at this location, is going to tell me what I would have been doing by 2014, and I can exponent, but I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to leave that math alone, because then it's just going to make me like, dang. But I'll do it. Yes, I will. I'll do it, and I'll set it aside for any time I'm starting to reason myself or emotionalize myself into a bad decision. I'm going to go look at that and say, hey, if in 2012 you had went to this location anyway, like your gut told you to, these are your numbers you would be at. So this is your reminder not to do that, not to make that decision, an emotion-based decision again, right? So I use that. That's a method that one of my coaches told me, and I'll use to coach myself, to remind myself of those things. So that's the only good. So you got to, use your history only as a mechanism to teach you something. But opening up a youth sports training facility is a good business to get involved in, because all these parents are trying to get their kids into these different sports, and they want their kids to be the best. And these parents are spoiling their children as well. So, well, they're willing to spend the money on their kids. I mean, they are spoiling their kids, but they're willing to spend the money on their children to do better, to give them that extra oomph. And having that does save a lot of time and energy and loss. Like Rose's daughter, if before they would have started their business in daycare, I would have went. I don't know if they got a coach. I don't know if they sought out the advice. I don't know if they went out and looked at the experience of other people and break those things down. I don't know if they had a checklist of things to follow, or a system that they put in place. But if you get all of that done, then it helps you. It helps you tremendously to avoid making mistakes and costly mistakes, right? Because some of those mistakes cost you a lot of money. You don't want to make them. All right. Any more questions before we sign off here? We've been going for 2.5 hours. Shondell said he's looked up the cost of land Aircraft hangars for a gym. Oh, that'd be a good one. And parking lots cost it's close to 2 to 3 million. Ooh, yeah, now that's a big investment. Now, if you're gonna do something that size, um, you might have to bring in some investors with you, because you're gonna need about 10 to 20% of that for skin in the game. If you're gonna bring in investors, you're gonna need 10% of that yourself. So that's $300,000 yourself, 10% of the skin, and then you'll probably have to go find 20% more of that skin. So you're looking at another 4 to 600,000 from investors, and put them on your board, and then take that to a bank, and you should be able to get the 600,000. You're gonna need a good business plan for that. But you want to have your corporate structure set up, like I said, trust with LLCs and things like that. That would not be an S corp, but you can do an LLC set up as an S corp, taxed as an S corp, in order to do it. And if that's just buying the wait a minute, you just said that's just buying the land. We haven't even talked about construction costs and build out and design and marketing and payrolls and all that sort of thing. So you probably going to kick another million into all of that. So it's a lot. It's a way to do it. It's a way to do it. Brick says, should you take out a loan to get your business going? Of course. There's nothing wrong with taking out a loan. I couldn't stand when Mark Cuban said that you shouldn't take out a loan. Here's the thing. I will never again use my own money to start a business or open a business or expand my business. That will never happen. Even when even as my stores make money, that money is being set aside. And as that money is being set aside, I will use that money as collateral for a loan, but I will never again use my money to get a loan. I did that long time ago, and I would never ever do it to start a business or to run my business. And that's when I almost lost my house and everything else. But after that, I've never used my money. When I started my gym, I'm gonna tell you guys something. When I started my gym, I had a credit score of 395, and I had no money. Even though I was six-figure earner, I had no money. So what I did was I used somebody else's. I got my investor. I used his credit and his $30,000 of money and his net worth of 15 million, and that was able to get me the $150,000 loan that I needed to open up my first small gym. And then from that, what I did was I took I saved up like 32,000 from the money that I was making. I saved 32,000. Then I used that as collateral to open up 2 other personal training studios. And then, that money was held for a year as collateral, and then that money was given back to me. And then I took that money and flipped it into another personal training studio, as collateral. So I don't use your own money. Go get a loan and use your money as collateral. And like I was saying in the beginning of this video, earlier in this video, the value of the dollar is going down. So doing that now, the value, you'll get more for your dollar now than you will later on. It's going to be worth has a lot less value in the next 5 years. So, so I would go get a loan. You can't be afraid of debt, but there's good debt and there's bad debt. Any kind of debt that's going to help you make money is good debt. It's good debt. Now, when you're just buying cars and houses and stuff like that, but you're not increasing your income, that's bad debt. Bad debt. For right now. Let's see, Shonda say, exactly, equipment, etc. You're exactly right, 79 to 99,000. Yep. And it's not a bad deal. You may consider, look at warehouse properties, like leasing. Initially, you may want to lease, but if you can buy the land, because banks are more apt to give you money if you're buying the land. But if not, also look at warehouse properties. Warehouse properties is a great place to have gyms and have those kind of training facilities, so warehouse property. One more question. Did you go to college or did you get straight to it? I went to the Marine Corps. Actually, I got kicked out of college when I first went. After high school, I got kicked out of college. I wasn't even there past the summer session before I got kicked out. That's a whole long story, but I got kicked out of college. And then I felt pressured to get married, so I got married, and I knew that I needed to take care of a wife, so I went to the military. I went to the Marine Corps. I didn't actually go to college until 2 years after I got out of the military. I mean, I took a couple of classes while I was in, but my job really didn't allow me to stick with the college courses. But most of my knowledge has come from a lot of studying, practical application, and coaches. I've had multiple coaches depending upon different time frames of my life and where I was located. And we didn't have the internet. Of course, the internet wasn't out when I first got my coaches. But so the thing about college, if you're built for it, go ahead and go to college, but build a business while you're in college. If you're not built for college, don't go. My son, he's not ready to go to college next year. After he graduates high school, he already told me he's not ready to go to college. So I made a deal with him. You know, he's been out earning. And I told him, if you can earn between now and January, if you earn, you show me that you can earn. Now, he's already worked for me. He's already worked 3 summers for me. And I told him, I said, if you show me that you can earn without your dad, without me providing the ability for you to earn, then in January, February, I will open a store closer to you in your area, right? That you can get to after school, that sort of thing, and I'll let you manage that store. If you show me between now and then that all this, take into account the stuff I've been teaching you, and you can earn. Now, if he can't earn, if he doesn't do it, I'm not doing it. And then when he graduates, if he still hasn't shown me that he can earn, still not going to do it. I'd go out and get a job. Show me you can earn. Go out and start selling stuff online. Show me you can earn. You know, I know he knows how to save and budget his money because I've been teaching my kids that since they were small. You know, my kids do this automatically. But show me you can earn. So, you know, if you're built for college, go. But earn. Start a business while you're there. Don't wait till you get out. And if you're going to college and you're accumulating debt, see, my oldest girl, one of her friends has already graduated. My oldest girl is still a year or so out from graduation because she's not taking any student loans. If we can't pay for it, she can't pay for it, she don't do it. She'll take fewer classes or whatever, but the goal is to not have student loans at all. Student loans I don't like. Shundell, 79 to 100,000 equals game score. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Unless you're talking about equipment and stuff. These lights are hot. It seems like more people that did not go to college are doing better, making me second guess. You know, some of that depends on what your goals in life are. Like I said earlier, the definiteness of purpose, you can't see it, but I'm just pointing up to it. Definiteness of purpose, definiteness of plan, definiteness of action. What's your purpose? Brick. What's your purpose? What is your purpose? What is it that you want to do? How do you want to live your life? What is it? Tell me that first, right? Before I say anything else, tell me that. And then you go from college. James said, how do I get out of a 40 grand debt and make $13 an hour? Been praying to Jesus, but I don't think he can help me. Oh, you telling me the score of the game. Okay. Oh, game score. Man, hush. I don't care. I'm mad. I don't want Golden State to win. Because I don't want these super teams to become a thing. You know. How do you get out of 40 grand in debt and you make $13 an hour? Okay, first of all, praying to Jesus ain't going to get you there. I'll just tell you that right now. You can pray to Jesus, Allah, Muhammad, Buddha, Krishna, whomever else you want to pray to. It is not prayer that's going to get you out of that situation. It's going to be your actions and your definiteness of purpose. I don't know how long you've been listening, but it's really being able to service your debt, reduce your lifestyle to a point where you can take 20% to service your debt, and at the same time taking 10% of what you earn in order to make more money. You are going to have to make more money, or you're going to have to put yourself in a position to. Oh, it was a joke. I'm guessing was Jesus part of the joke, or all of it was a joke about the 13 and 40 grand. But you're going to need to definitely create other ways. And in our world today, this is kind of what Brick is talking about. There are so many ways you can make money. You can make extra money. You can make an extra $500 a month. You can make an extra $1,000 a month. There are so many ways of going and selling stuff or selling a service that you can do it. Or if your car qualifies for Lyft or what's the other one? Uber. And hey, you work 8 hours a day at your regular gig, you go spend 8 hours driving, right? You do what you got to do, but you do it. But you got to have that purpose. You got to have a purpose for doing it, and then you got to have the action that follows. So I would tell you, even like if your car does qualify for Lyft or Uber, go drive Uber and Lyft for 8 hours a day. You know, to hell with your personal life. You know, do that 6 days a week. Take one day off. And really, if it was me, 7 days a week, right? I'm doing it just to get that extra money coming in so I can service this debt. All right, so go do that. Or sell stuff online. Do both. Sell stuff online, drive for Uber, drive for Lyft. You know, do what you have to do in order to make it happen. And I will say, you know, you need to get all the financial management programs you can, but then make yourself more marketable too. I'm gonna be honest with you, $13 an hour is gonna be hard. You can grow, but I don't know why it says chat disconnected, but you can grow on that. Let's see. Brick says, my goal is to make something that can last generations. Opening a business basically, but I'm not sure where to start. So I'm in school, but I don't seem like I'm moving forward. Okay, so this is one of the things that thanks for real. This is one of the things where I tell people that, okay, brick, I like saying it that way. Brick. You know, it's funny. One of the people who subscribes to the channel, she's a Patreon supporter and everything. She was in town, and I met with her and her niece yesterday. And what's funny is when you meet me, you guys see me on here, but when you meet me in person, you get to see a whole nother side of me. You know, which I have fun no matter what I'm doing. So Brick, you're not being specific, dude. I'm guessing you're a dude. I'm gonna call you a dude until you tell me otherwise. You're not being specific. I have a goal to make something that can last for generations, to open a business, basically. Okay, first of all, something that lasts for generations has to be built on people who understand how to earn. I was talking about that in the very beginning. When you have kids, you got to make them jokers earn. If they don't learn how to earn, and you gotta instill in them that they have to make their kids earn. So when you have grandkids, make sure that them jokers learn how to earn. Don't give them the trust. They can't become. This is another reason why you set up a trust with you as the director of the trust, and then you put all your stuff, your LLCs inside the trust, because you don't turn that direction over to somebody who doesn't know how to earn. And you teach that to your kids, and you enforce that, and you get them to understand the rationale behind it so that you can create generational wealth. Is not created by you creating millions of dollars and then turning that over to a generation that doesn't know how to earn. You know, that's why the Vanderbilts, after 6 generations, none of them were millionaires. It's not until Gloria Vanderbilt actually started building her company that she started becoming a millionaire, started having the Vanderbilt connection. Anderson Cooper had to become what he is, and his job just gets him into being a millionaire, I believe. I'm not sure exactly how much he made, but and one of the Vanderbilt married, got into being an earl, a duke, or an earl or something over there. So they had to take other routes, but they had a gap because people didn't know how to earn. If you want to create generational wealth, teach your kids how to earn and how to manage money, right? And how to grow money, right? And force them, say, you're not getting a trust until you learn. You're not taking over a company until you learn, until you demonstrate it, right? You got to demonstrate it. So, but then you got to get specific in the business. See, here's the thing about me. Don't tell nobody. Do I love popcorn? No. Now the ice cream, yes. But I don't want to just have an ice cream shop. But and I looked at popcorn as an opportunity because nobody is dominating this industry. Shut up, Shondell. I don't like you no more. Get off my page. Get off the video, Shondell. Make me sick. I just playing. I love business, right? I love business. I love making deals. I love taking something and making it grow into something. Did I love being in the mall selling sunglasses, watches, and candles? I had 3 kiosks in that mall. Did I love selling those things? No, but I saw an opportunity, and I know how to take the opportunity and make money off of it. Did I love IT industry? Hell no, but I needed to feed my family. I didn't see any other opportunities, so I jumped on it, and I made money, became a 6-figure earner, making money, but I was able to get my way into being a Microsoft certified trainer, and okay, you're rooting for good. Okay, good. I'm just rooting for anybody other than Golden State. But so I didn't love IT, but I saw a way of making money. Then I saw a way I can teach. So I started teaching. Then I saw a way to make money as an independent contractor, and I started, a consulting firm. I love coaching. I do love that. But I know that for me, I got other things I want to develop before I fully go into coaching. I mean, I'm coaching now. I don't put much effort in coaching as I do in my popcorn business because that's something that can function without me. But I love business. So tell me something that you love, that you want to do, that you're willing to spend your. See, I'm willing to spend my time on it. Let's say these selling these kind of bracelets, I was just wanted to just sell stuff online. I can put if I put 8 to 10 hours behind it a day, I can make money off of it. You can build a vehicle out of anything, but you need to get specific on what it is you want to build, right? Just a business is not enough. Like, so if I was coaching you and you told me I want to open up a business, I'd probably fuss at you and be like, you better dig into your First I'd fuss at you, then I give you a process. Then I give you a process to actually figure it out. There's a map program that I have that I'll give you. And I say, okay, I need you to do this map. After you do this map, then we're going to do this map. And after we do that map, now we got Mindshare. Now that I got Mindshare, we can kind of move you in the right direction. But you got to get specific. You got to say, okay, what do you not mind spending your days doing? And not mind, not you love, you got to have passion for it. What do you don't mind doing? Like there's a guy, he cleans grease traps. He don't like it. But what he saw is that there was a gap in the industry. So he cleans grease traps. It stinks. If y'all saw my video that I put on Facebook and Instagram a couple days ago, the grease traps stink. I mean, it smelled like 5 babies took a dump in there. It was horrible. That thing stinks so bad. It hadn't been cleaned since 2011. But it was, oof, it stank. So he just saw an opportunity. And he went out and he bought him a truck. He got all the certifications. And he cleans grease traps, right? It's an opportunity. A lot of these companies, restaurants, they have grease that fry grease. They got to get rid of it. And then there's another company that processes it. They pay you to pick up the grease. They pay you when you dump the grease. So he's making money. He gets paid twice off the same grease. And this one guy, he bought a truck, cost him $45,000, bought the truck, got certified, picks up the grease, dumps the grease, get paid on both ends. I talked to this guy in 2009. 2009 is when I talked to him, when I worked with him. And now I think he has 5 trucks. Last time I saw his company, because now I just see what his company's doing. I don't coach him anymore. But he has 5 trucks now that's running. So he doesn't even drive a truck now. So now he doesn't have to deal with the grease, but he just runs the company. So like Shondell knows he wants to work in sports and athletes and work with kids, and that's cool, so he can work around that. When I was a personal trainer, I'm going to be honest with you. Did I love being a personal trainer? No, I love the life coaching part of it. The life coaching part I loved. But actually, the fitness coaching part of it, I was good at it. All my clients got their results simply because I knew how to change their mind state. I change your mind, I can change your life. Plain, basically. If I can change your mindset, I can change your life. So, I love that part. But the energy I was taking, I got bored. Oftentimes I was very bored with the training. All right. So you let me go through all that. I worded it wrong. I worded it wrong. I want my own business and stable financially, but I go to the school for exercise science. Okay. I like exercise and sports, but I know I don't need it. You sure don't. Because I have a degree in, look, here's the thing. I went and did the fitness certification. I got certified through ISSA. And of course, they got all this continued education and all this kind of stuff. And then I found out, because I knew I was going to start out in the gym, but then I found out that there's no government governing body over fitness trainers. And I was like, what the hell I go and get this for? I can go and put a sign on the street right now that says personal training and life coaching. Hit your fitness goals in 90, not 90 days. Lose 20 pounds in 90 days. Whatever. Some kind of hook. I could go and start that right now. I haven't recertified in fitness. Well, I got certified in 2003, that contract ended. So 2004. I got certified at the beginning of 2004. I never recertified that stuff. Right? I got certified as a personal trainer, a master's trainer, and a master nutritionist. And I never recertified anything because I realized that there was no governing body over it. And by the time when I was picking up clients, that first year, I took before and after pictures of every client, before and after, before and after. It was a requirement if you train with me, before and after. And I took down all their measurements and I showed the progression of their, I did their measurements every month. And I had that progression so that when I went away from the gym and went independent and I met somebody or when I was referred to somebody, it was like, okay, so, my resume was to show them my before and after book. I had a book, right? I created this binder. I had their before picture and I had their after picture next to it. Then you turn the page and it got I had this measurement sheet that I created and it was for 6 months. And it showed their measurement, their first measurement, second measurement changes. Next measurement changes. Next measurement changes. Did that for 6 months out. So when I show them the picture before and after, oh wow, look at the change they made. Flip it over, man, look at all those inches that they lost in body fat and weight and all that kind of stuff. And some of them didn't lose weight, but they lost a lot of inches, depending upon the body type. And I had a book full of that. I'm talking like for over the first year. Well, the first year, I only had like 40 or 50. I had like about 40 or 50 people, situations like that. But then by the time I get into like year 3 and 4, I got like 100 and something people, then, well, not 3 and 4. The second year I had about 100 something. Third year, I started doing group training a lot more so I can maximize my time. So I might have 4 people that I'm training. Each person is paying me like $40. So I'm making $160 for that hour that I'm with them 3 days a week that I'm with these people. So, that's how you do it. Maximize my money. But I would have that portfolio of each one of those persons, and then bam, 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 bam. Now I got 500-600 people in my book, and somebody can just flip. I ain't even have to. Here's my book. Nobody asked me about a certification. Here's my book, right? So now there's some other things that I had that you got to make sure you cover yourself with. But no, you don't need to go to college for that. Unless you just want to work for certain companies. Certain companies are going to require you to do it. Or if you want to work, you know what? Actually, no. Even something else. Because of my experience, I wound up training this chiropractor. This chiropractor, he was at the time, the chiropractor for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So certain parts of the year, he would leave Atlanta, go down, and he worked for the Buccaneers. He had a trainer that worked with him. Well, one summer, the trainer couldn't work with him. And so I went down there and I worked with him. And then, if you guys remember when Terrell Owens was playing with the Eagles and he broke his leg and he was going through that hyperbaric chamber for his leg to get himself ready, well, that chiropractor was the guy who was working with him. And I was working with that chiropractor. It was a few sessions that the personal trainer he had couldn't work with Terrell. And this guy, the guy he used to work with had all these accolades, colleges and all that kind of stuff. But so I worked with him on those sessions. And, it was great. Well, all of that, at one point, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they asked me to come down and be a part of their staff. And they didn't care nothing about a certification or anything like that. They saw the results of working with Terrell as one of the trainers. They saw the results of working with those few times that I came down there and I worked with them when his normal trainer couldn't go. It was results driven. It was results driven. But I didn't want to do that because, one, I didn't want to move back to Tampa. I hate Tampa as a place to live. No. But plus I had a thriving business here. And I wasn't willing to give that up because those kinds of teams, man, you hire 1 year and then you fire the next. Right? But you don't need one. You just need a good business plan and a good marketing strategy and to work it. Thanks for the help. Always a good night, Coach. Good night, Shondell, if you're already gone. Man, y'all are creeping up on 3 hours. I'm leaving at 3 o'clock in 3 hours in 7 minutes. Honestly, I just go to play football. My coach said it would be good for my resume. It is good for your resume. It depends on what you want to do. But if you want to start a business, like, do you need that to open up a gym? Do you need that to open up a training facility? No, you don't. You don't have to. What I would do is I would go ahead and go get me some independent clients right now. I would train people in their homes, at parks, whatever I need to train people at. I would train some people now. Start training them. Build you up about 10, 15 clients, however many you can handle. Maybe have a sports camp at some point. But just start building it up and doing it at the parks. Parks are free. I would start doing that. I don't know where you are, what city, what state, but make sure you're not breaking any of the rules or laws. But I would go and I would do that. I would build that client base up. I would save every freaking penny that I can possibly save from it. And then in about a year, maybe a year and a half, I would take all the money that I have, use that as collateral to go get me a loan and open up a facility and start training people and just keep going from there and just build it, you know. And if you're going to college to play football, then play football, you know. But there's nothing saying that you can't have that on the side. Hell, you can have that going on and then open a facility and then hire other people who probably play with you and have them there to train and so they can earn money, because most college kids are broke as hell, you know. So there are different approaches you can take to it in order to make money, you know. Now, I don't know what state you're in, and I don't know the conditions. I don't know what city. So there's a lot more that can go into it. Anyway. They say good looks coach. I'm going to try. Don't try nothing we do. We don't try. I'm very big about words, if you can't tell by word choice. I'm gonna try that while I'm in college. Maybe I will pay some my loans off. Right, pay some of your loans off. And if you got student loans, if you can start paying those off, that'd be great. Because student loans, man, they don't really. For most things, student loans don't really hurt your credit, but they can hurt your credit, if you understand what I'm saying. It depends on what you're trying to do. But the least amount you can have, student loans are like murder nowadays, man. If you can avoid them things as much as possible. But yeah, King said just do it, and that's the truth, man. Gosh, I wish I can remember his name. Art Williams. I love Art Williams' speeches when he started talking about just do it. Do it. Just do it. But if you go look up, Google Art Williams, well, YouTube Art Williams, just do it. Sometimes, you know, when I'm feeling a little like I don't want to do something, I just put on some Art Williams and go to town on it, man. Just listening, and he just do it. Just do it. All right, I'm going to make some more money. Just do it. All right, I'm going to get started now. Just do it. All right, this is my year. Good, just do it. I don't know. He's country as hell. He's from Cairo, Georgia, and he's just funny. But I like Art Williams. He used to be he's a football coach, I believe, or basketball. He's a coach at some college. But go check him out. Go check Art Williams out. It's a good motivational thing to keep you motivated, keep you going. See, motivation only lasts for a certain amount of time, and then it goes away. That's why you need something that's transformational in your life to transform you, transform your mindset, to keep you going. All of this up here on this wall is part of my transformation. It keeps me in the right mode. And you guys can't see everything because there's some stuff down here that you can't see. There's some stuff up over there that you can't see. I gotta pick up some stuff tomorrow, and this all in here will be filled in with some other stuff. Well, there's some parts that won't, because it's growing. It's a process I'm utilizing. I'll tell you about that at a different time. But, you know, this wall is living my life like a major corporation. You know, it's constant. I see it before I wake up. I see it when I wake up. I see it before I go to bed. I go through it. All my meditation stuff is right down here. You know, so it's like, you know, you have to ingrain, get yourself totally submersed and immersed in what you're doing so that you change your mindset, right? And that includes the people you're around, because one of the things up here talks about your top 5 people that are in your life. You got to be mindful of them. And it says, you know, you are what you think about all day. What you think about the most is what you are. So you got to do all that. Do I do lives every Saturday? Here's the thing about my lives. Now, I know tomorrow night I'll be on with Kevin Wesley, and we're talking to some other ministers who walked away from Christianity. One guy is a bishop at 44 churches. I do that with him every Sunday at 8 o'clock. My lives are kind of just hit or miss, man. I might do a live in the morning. Well, now I know tomorrow morning I'm not, but I do them as I can because of my schedule. See, like my schedule is on here, and these yellow post notes have all my schedule on. My schedule is so like different each day and different each week that I don't schedule a weekly kind of session. It might be Monday night, I'll do a live. Wednesday night, I'll do a live. And depending on some subjects, I don't want to do lives. I just want to do a video where I can just focus on what I just want to get out, because sometimes I want to answer everybody's questions or talk to the people. And I know I'll get thrown off. That's why this video is taking 3 hours. But we have, so my lives are just hit or miss right now. Now, when I open this store in Decatur, after the first month, lives are going to be I don't even know when I'm gonna do it live. It might be at 9, 10 o'clock at night. It might be in the store. It might, no, it ain't gonna be in the store because this is in a mall, so they kick you out at a certain time. But I might not get home to 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I might do it live. Do it in the morning, but if I don't have to hurry up and rush off. The first month is gonna be rough. So June through the first part of July gonna be rough as far as doing lives. But come the end of July, August, I have a lot more time because my crew should be they'll be trained up by then, and I'll be spending my days working outside my store. So that's the thing you got to get to, where you're not working. I was working in my business last year. That's why I had to make this change so I can work on my business. So I just gave you the long answer of no. But you have to hit that bell notification. Hit the bell. If you're not a subscriber, become a subscriber. Hit the bell icon. Then you'll get notifications of when I do a live. All right. This video was originally going to be just a regular video, but I knew it was going to take like an hour if I just explained everything about question and answer. And recording an hour video right now and trying to upload it and edit it and all that kind of stuff, it's not the greatest use of my time. So I decided to do a live because in the time frame that I'm doing this live is how long it would take for me to shoot the video for an hour. It would take me another 2 hours to edit the video and then load it. Do it live instead. Can't wait for tomorrow live, but I think the info. I'm glad that you subbed, and I'm glad that you learned. That's the purpose. And guys, I'm gonna get off here, but I just want to let you guys do know this. First of all, I appreciate everybody for subscribing. Please share this video so that you can share, and then comment after this goes off. Comment, go back to it, comment hashtag Uncle Ren's Popcorn. You'll be in the running, but share this video as well. You got to share it to be in the running for a 10-pack of Uncle Ren's Popcorn. But I'm putting the cart before the horse a little bit here. But I'm working with Kevin on starting a Temple of Learning. Like I'm gonna force that name as part of the whole compound thing that we're talking about. But I think we're gonna. Although we were talking about waiting until next year when I move to another city to do it there, I'm gonna talk to him about maybe go ahead and starting a Temple of Learning satellite here in Atlanta, right? And then, so if you're in Atlanta and you want to be a part of the Temple of Learning, let me know. This is going to be a place where you can learn all kinds of things. Not just spiritual things, but learn about finances, about money, about business, about relationships, about, your health. It's just a full-fledged Temple of Learning. The thing that made Babylon great one of the things that made Babylon great was that the King Sargon established the Temple of Learning, where the teachers could come in and freely teach different subject matters. Now, we're going to have some controls on the subject matters that's being taught, but we want to have different subject matters that people can come in and volunteers are teaching initially, and then eventually I want these teachers to be paid. I don't like people doing stuff for volunteer purposes. I like people to get paid for what they do because their experience and their knowledge has value, right? So if I can pay them right off the bat, I'm going to pay people right off the bat. But I'm going to create this Temple of Learning, and Kevin will probably work with me to go ahead and start a satellite here. But the larger compound that we want to create, we'll create. I believe in having multiple. So one here in Atlanta, and then one in another city, in the next city that I'm gonna move to. All right. And then we go from there. I should say, will you make it open to outside guests? Of course, definitely outside guests. They just will be, what's the word I'm looking for? I forgot the word that I'm looking for, but I just need to know who they are and verify who they are, and just, what I won't tolerate is somebody coming in trying to force people into anything. Like, some people, as you know, how they come onto me and Kevin's thing, and they'll want to show up there just so that they can say stuff like, "Yeah, everybody here is going to hell," or stuff like that. So I'm not gonna tolerate anybody demeaning someone else in it. If you're in there, and we're not gonna teach traditional stuff. If you want to learn a traditional religion, go to that religious place to learn it. But this is not going to be that kind of place. We will teach. Hermetics will be taught. Kemetic stuff will be taught. Meditations, yoga, Those kinds of things will be taught. So it is a more open spirituality that'll be taught, but also finances and building community and that sort of thing, and relationship things, and tantra will be taught. All those kinds of things will be taught as well. And then if people want to come there, and they have I know a guy, he teaches CPR. I will have him come in once a month or once a quarter or something to teach CPR. So all kind of things like that, So there'll be outside guests. I want it to be a broad range of things, because I find that I've been trying to get churches, mosques, and synagogues to teach more. Well, not synagogues really, but churches and mosques to broaden their scope of community involvement in the Atlanta area. And none of them seem to want to do it. They always, get fearful. So, hell, I do it myself. Stop trying to convince other people. They just already had the crowd in the facility. So I'm like, okay, hey, you say you're here before the community. Well, let's develop the community more so than you're just developing your business and putting this money in your pocket. Let's teach these people how to build careers, build companies, how to, critically think, because we're going to teach the trivium as well. But let's get people into understanding how to develop themselves, personal development. And community development. That's what must happen. I'm watching. I see these stories every day. These stories of that just the black community in America is just going to hell in a handbasket, and we're not moving in the right. We're regressing. We're regressing. It would be a great place for retreats, and I want that too. I want to have retreats there, but we're regressing as a community. If you look at the way things are going right now, we're not progressing anymore. The fact that the police are able to do what they're able to do, the fact that white people are just calling the cops on people, for living, you're just living while black. You're getting called on the cops for all these things, that something's popping up in the news every day. And what are the things that get attention? A school shooting that happens. Is this happening in the black community? I don't think so. We're regressing. I saw a video today where there's this restaurant. I thought it was owned by black people. It was owned by Koreans. And the Korean dude just slapped the hell out of one of his black employees. And the little girl just standing there because she's stunned. She don't know what the heck to do. But he feels like he can, and he's in the black community. And people just go and support these businesses. Like, seriously? We got to build our own businesses in our community and support them. And that's one of the things that's driving me crazy, is that these churches and mosques have the people. They have the community. They have the power in their hand right now, but they refuse to do it. And that makes no sense to me. But we continue to support all this stuff, and that's regressing. That's regressive to our community. And yet it seems like our leadership just wants to grandstand. And that's why they're not leaders. They're not leaders, because they're just grandstanding instead of boots on the ground getting things done. And so that's what the Temple of Learning is about. It's about getting things done. And guarantee, I'm leaving this country. That's why the initiative is to also nation build in Haiti and Botswana. But we got a nation build in those two countries. I chose Haiti because Haiti was the first country that refused colonization and fought back and destroyed those people who colonized them. But then look at what's happened to them. Their land has eroded due to overgrowing the same crop annually. The Dominican Republic treats them like crap. They don't have industry. The churches have went down there, and they're forcing people to change religions in order to eat. And so they're not getting the structure that they need. And in Botswana is a growing economy with not a lot of people, but they are moving in the right direction, and that could be a beacon to go there and support that and build there. And they're very open to it. I've been making contacts with people in Botswana in order for us to start moving there. There's a few people I know that I can have contacts in Haiti. So we're going to nation build in those countries. I will only be in America for the next 5 years. After 5 years, I'll be gone. I'll be in one of those two countries. More than likely, Botswana is where I'm going. I'm not going to Haiti. Not because I don't like Haiti or anything like that. I just rather go. I want to be centered. So I'm going to Botswana. But I want people to go to either Haiti or Botswana. And for those who stay here in America, to keep building temples of knowledge here in America. We have to do this for ourselves. I don't care who you vote for. Your vote really ain't going to get us there. We got to get power. Power is acquired by having industry and having country. We have to have country and industry in order to gain power in this world and this country. So we have to do that, which is probably why my subscribership doesn't grow as well as it should, because I'm not tolerating. I don't care about giving you guys fluff. Brick said, oh, yeah, because religion creates hate and division, so they can't build. And religion does create hate and division. But you know what binds people? food, shelter, clothing, finances. You teach people how to build their country. You come in. See, the problem is, I was watching this video and I put it on my Facebook today. Dominican Republic, the dark-skinned black guy from America kept getting carded by all the Dominican guards because they thought he was Haitian. And they kept asking for his passport. They don't mind you coming there to spend your money on vacation and all that kind of stuff, but they think you're Haitian, so they hate you. They treat you foul. And I don't care what their history has been. I know Haiti has done some wrong things to the Dominicans when they first became free, and that animosity is there. Okay, get over it. Here's the thing. It's today. It's today. So Haiti can use some infrastructure, a lot of infrastructure. And I believe that 10,000 well-rounded Americans and Caribbean people going to Haiti to nation build can establish that. And I have to take I'm taking a deeper look into Haiti now to see what's the best route. Like, I know a good route for Botswana. I know where they're headed, what they've been doing, what they need. I can see Haiti needs a lot, but we can do it. Their government is not as well established, nor it has a lot more corruption than most other places, but money and power changes that. Money and power changes that, so we can do that. It's going to be a little bit harder in Haiti than it's going to be in Botswana, but we can do it. It's going to take time. Like, my Botswana plan is a 300-year plan. You know, it's not patience, man. It takes patience. Haiti is through, but Haiti just became a part of the African Union, so that gives them, you know, something. They're part of the African Union. So Haiti's going to change in the next 50 years. The next 50 years, Haiti is going to be very different. Just becoming a member of the African Union. If the African Union continue to move in the direction that the president of Guyana is pushing towards, and what South Africa is pushing towards, and what Botswana is pushing toward, then being a member of the African Union is going to be a very good position for Haiti in the next 50 years. And in the next 100 to 300 years, it's going to be a very, very good position, because Botswana has built their own refineries for their precious metals and things that they have there. And as more African nations build their own refineries, it's going to pour more wealth back into Africa. They're going to retain their wealth, which is what wealth is, retaining the money. So as they retain it, they'll become stronger. And we can help in developing that. And that's what I'm looking forward to doing. All right. Brick said, yeah, but they're trying to leave this country to love your... I'm trying to leave this country to love your goals. Love your goals, live your goals. Okay. Sure, either one works. But yeah, so I'm leaving because we're never going to get our return on investment in this country, what our ancestors put into it. We're not going to get it. This country is too big for us to get our return on investment. It would take 1,000 years in America for us to get our return on investment. But that would have to be 1,000 years. We would have to get into community building right now. We would have to separate ourselves from westernized culture. We would have to establish our power base in both current political parties. We can't be all Democrats. We have to have power in both Democrat and Republican parties. We have to build industry. We have to kick people out of the communities that are not supporting the community. So if a business is not supporting the community, they have to be removed through the fact of just non-support. And we have to get out of some of these mindsets of, you know, this group got that on lock. I mean, how many Asian, Arabs, and Indian people are making money off black people and taking the money out of the community? I'm not mad at them because they just see an opportunity. I'm mad at us for not taking the opportunity ourselves. And then when somebody does open a business, I'm pissed that we don't go out like gangbusters to support them because we've been westernized too much. And it's not about being racist or anything like that. It's about the fact that if you want to stop seeing your sons and daughters being manhandled and treated poorly and improperly, then you have to take your financial power back. And I just don't have the patience for people in America to do that. What I do have the patience for is going to Botswana and Haiti and doing it. But I will set up a process for it to happen in America. Because America can be a very huge power base in educating and financing what is done in Haiti and Botswana. Because Haiti has suffered through embargo after embargo because European and America got pissed that they killed all the French white people to take their freedom. So they've suffered because of it. And we have to reestablish that and have trade going. That's why them joining the African Union is a wonderful thing, because if once they get the entire free trade thing established, it's going to benefit Haiti. And that's why we get into Haiti and we start building infrastructure. We start building trade lines. We start changing their processes of how their economy. Then we get them into a situation where they are trading with African nations and Caribbean nations, and the people won't be looking to leave. The people won't have to stand at the gate and wait hours before they can get in and sell their wares. They can sell to themselves, and they can sell and import and export things, and we can revitalize the land so that the farmers can still get back to farming good products, produce. You know, if Haiti took an initiative in farming, I'm not the best farmer. I'm not a farming engineer at all. I know something. But one of the things I do know is that if they took a gradual, they could take the process. I mean, it'd be great if they can do the whole country at one point, at one time. But I would take 2 farming cycles in Haiti, and I would plant alfalfa, and I would let it grow and let it die. Let it re-fertilize the land. And then plant trees, plant lumber. But I know people need fire there now to be able to cook food. So while we're trying to grow lumber, grow our forest back, because if you look at Dominican Republic, plenty of forests. Look at Haiti, barren brown. So we need to revitalize that. Alfalfa is a great product to do that with. Let it grow, let it die. Do it again, let it grow, let it die. Re-neutralize it, get nutrition into the land. Utilize other sources of heating their food. Like in the military, we have these hot packs where you break it and it heats up your food. So for the next 2 to 3 years, really implement that as a process for people to cook their food, so that they can stop burning wood, so we can allow for trees and other, you know, lumber to grow there, so that the land gets stronger. Once the land gets stronger, then people will be able to farm better. And as they farm better, and we bring other industries and resorts and education and IT and other trade things, we get Haiti back to being a financial powerhouse. Because here's the thing about it, Haiti used to provide more financial wealth than the entire Western Hemisphere for the Europeans, right? Very powerful. It has a lot of potential there, and we can work with that. We can work with that. It's going to be harder though. Corrupt government, we got to work with them, which, you know, and then get the people educated. So we can do that. We can do that. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some effort. It's going to take some people. We've got to take some patience. So we start by creating our Temple of Learning here. Over the next 5 years, we're going to build temples of learning in Atlanta, the next city that I moved to, because I'm not telling you guys what city it is yet. Only a few people know. And then we build in other cities. We build in DC, we build in New York, we build in LA and San Diego and Chicago. We build in all these other cities, Dallas, Houston. You know, we build temples of learning all over the country, because we have to create a strong base. And we need that base. We're going to need that base. We're going to need a process for people who want to move, and how to get themselves ready for that move to one of those 2 countries, and understand the work that they have to do, and then establish it where it becomes easier. Once it becomes easier for other people to come, in 20 years, people will just be like, it'll be a natural thing. Yeah, I'm going to move to Botswana, and there's great opportunity over there. I'm going to move to Haiti. There's great opportunity there. You know, we create the opportunity, make it easier for people, and people start moving. Then we get that second wave of people just coming. Next thing you know, we've changed the 2 countries, and we've created a power base here in America that we're not concerned about who's the president or who's in Congress. What we're concerned about is utilizing the laws and industry in order to make, you know, to make finances and give power, so that we can do what we need to do, and make those 2 countries power bases as well. Create that triangle. You know, the strongest force in geometry, the strongest shape in geometry is the triangle, the pyramid, so to speak. So let's get that done. And now I went 18 minutes beyond what time I was supposed to stop at 2:30, and 2 hours and 30 minutes, but y'all kept me going. Y'all know I can talk. But anyway, so I appreciate you guys. I thank you for, if anybody's held on for the entire 3 hours and 19 minutes, hey, you are a trooper. I appreciate you. And go back, guys, and really study this information here for your finances. These are the kind of things that we're going to teach at the Temple of Learning. Hey, Rose is still here. Yeah, Rose been here the whole time. So we're going to really study these things, because I got some work. I got more work to do. I'm going to be working till about 1 o'clock this morning. because I got to finish up a couple of projects. But really study this stuff, okay? Really study it. Read the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. Go read that book, and then come back and look at this video again. Oh, no, you're all right. You're all right. You're all right. But just keep studying. Keep studying this information. Get your finances right. It's going to take time. Have patience. Have patience with yourself. And realize that every small victory in this is going to be to your benefit. It may take you a year, it may take you 2 years to get your finances to where you're doing the 70-10-10-10 plan. It may take you some time. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Have your definiteness of purpose, definiteness of plan, and definiteness of action, and you'll get there. And next thing you know, when you're there, you'll be like, man, I'm so glad I started. Because if you don't start now, you'll never get there. So you have to start in order to get there. It's just like losing weight. You cannot run around in a circle and expect to have lost 10 pounds. It takes month after month after month after month to get you to where you want to be, to get your health right. So nothing happens like that, right? Anything worth having is worth working for, fighting for, and patience, having the patience to do it. So remember, guys, and I'm going to try this again. I haven't done this in a while. I learned this is a sign, right? You have to free yourself. No, you have to free yourself to be yourself. I had a sign person that I was driving, told me, I was taking somewhere, told me that. But anyway, you got to free yourself to be yourself. Why? Because your greatness is not negotiable, and I really appreciate you guys. And keep on, keep going, and I appreciate all the support. See you guys next time. See you guys tomorrow night with me, Kevin, and the other two gentlemen. See you guys tomorrow night, 8 o'clock on Kevin's page, Kevin Wesley page. Have a good one.